Hello, YouTube. Today, there was a huge patch for Deadlock, and we're going to be reviewing it piece by piece. If you already know everything and want to skip it, feel free to kind of just hop in the VOD later. Or if you're watching the video, welcome. I'm going to be breaking everything down and going over it piece by piece. It's going to be a while, because it's 10,000 words, but there's changes to every hero and stuff. I'll make sure to have timestamps in the description for things a bit later after this VOD comes out. So, you can now jump during a slide. Crazy change. This just makes it consistent to whenever you're sliding, you can actually jump. So you can actually do this. This wasn't something you were pretty much locked into a slide if you just did a dead slide, or you were locked into the slide if you just slid after a dash. But now you can actually jump whenever you want. I think it just makes it consistent with in-air dashes, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy. Dash jumps now grant you a very brief period with increased air control. 30% for 0.25. To me, this immediately sounds like if you've played Apex or anything like that, it kind of reminds me of tap strafing. You get to be able to actually control where you're going pretty quickly out of the dash jump. It actually makes it a reason to do so. If you were familiar with all the movement text in this game, there's actually a reason to do this now, rather than doing, like mantle glides and all that stuff. This actually lets you take control of your own movement and kind of weave around corners and such. This is a nice little change. I think it's really nice for actually keeping the game pretty comprehensive. I actually took a screenshot. The first shrine is now easier to kill and harder for the second. HP from 8,100 to 5,000, 10,000. The HP updates after the first one dies, like walkers. This is a really cool change. I really like this. I really like incentivizing that fact that each of them have to be broken. I think it makes the late game sieging of the base a lot more strategic, rather than just kind of inching around at the shrines. That's kind of it. Shrine attacks no longer hit heroes under the shrine. This just makes it to where when you're underneath the shrine, the giant explosion doesn't hit you. You'll also notice that there is a one-way veil under the shrine now. This is later in the patch notes, but we'll go over it now. So, yeah, pretty cool. I think this is also a nice change to give the defenders some advantage in their base. I really like veils in this game. I think they had a high level of complexity, and I think this is really nice. Instead of having the underneath of the shrine just kind of be the stupid death trap, it actually has a reason to exist now. And it's one way anyway, so if you're in here, you have an advantage. I think it's pretty nice, actually. Super Troopers DPS increased. This is pretty fine. This is mostly just for base defending. I think making the troopers a little bit stronger is a pretty solid change. Mid lane troopers now get upgraded when either of the shrines die rather than only when both die. I think this falls in line with the shrines being harder to kill. Very rewarding. Killing a pair of base guardians now spawns a zipline boosted trooper wave to reinforce your push. Also, pretty cool. Very, very, very cool that we actually rewarding the. I really like the fact that we're rewarding actual sieges now and having them be strategy, everything like that. I think it's really nice. Medic troopers DPS grows by 3% per minute. Troopers now gain 7 HP regen when out of combat. Trooper wave interval increased every 25 seconds to every 20 seconds, starting at 35 minutes. So these three changes, I really like these because if you've played League at all and you understand how wave management in that game works, this makes it fall more in line with consistent pushes out from the base rather than, well, it actually lets there be wave crashes and slow pushes and things like that, especially after the Guardians are down. I like this a lot for actually managing the overall wave state for how things are going. You actually have to catch waves now, unless or also do a lot of damage to the walker. They already did, but now it's an actual punish for not doing it. Guardian's bounty increased from 1,000 to 1,500. I like this change a lot. Walker's bounty increased from 3,500 to 4,000. And Walker's health rescaled from 6,800 to 6,000. 9,350 to 9,000. Basically 12,000 to 12,000. Kind of just reduces their health a little bit. It's fine. Walker's armor decay rescaled from 75% to minus 50% to plus 65% to minus 65%. Basically, they start with less armor and they gain less armor as the game goes on. I think it's just solid. I think this whole patch incentivizes taking objectives a good bit more now. I think it's really interesting. And especially with the increase to gold, with the little rework to shrine, stuff like that, I think it's really interesting. Base Guardian's bounty from 750 to 1000. There were a lot of times where taking only one Base Guardian was kind of just fine. That was it. That was all you needed to do. But I like the fact that we actually get new waves, the bounties increased, stuff like that. Shrine's bounty increased from 0 to 2000. I find it pretty silly that there was no reward for getting shrines before. Really glad there is now. Mid-boss now has a 3000 gold reward rather than 2000. Mid-boss base HP increased from 1200 to 1300 basically. Mid-boss global announcement health threshold reduced from 70 to 50%. I don't know if I'm really that big of a fan of this, but I don't think I'm like against it. It's like kind of fine. Mid-boss now has a 35% debuff resistance. Rejuve drop duration reduced from 7 seconds to 6 seconds. Rejuve duration no longer refreshes when hitting a crystal later. I think this whole set of changes for mid-boss incentivizes having a read on the opponents rather than just reacting to it without the actual knowledge. And I think it incorporates more of a skill gap for that. Minimap now indicates if the urn is favored, neutral, or unfavored, aka comeback urns for you or the enemy team. This was so nice. In case you didn't know before, there would be candles next to the comeback urn. There would be candles next to the urn to indicate if it was a comeback urn or not. But having to physically walk there to like see, because you know, obviously you can like memorize like the numbers and the threshold and everything like that. You can see right here, there's candles on it because it's an enemy comeback urn. I think it's pretty silly. I like a lot that it actually shows you on the map now if it's a comeback urn or not for whoever it is. Really nice change. Really, really glad it's just concise now. They added a new neutral camp on each side of the map. For reference, if you look on the map here, you can see right here in the bottom corner, there's a new little area over here where you can actually view the... Let me turn on no clip. There's a new little... Well, I think this room was always here, but they actually added a camp in here now on each side. I think this makes rotating from Walker really interesting because you could already hit the boxes right here and get the extra souls from this, but now if you have the extra time, you can go walk in here, go do this camp, come back to lane. You could even do this camp maybe. I think it adds some nice like routing for the side lanes overall. And then there's one over here, of course, on the other side of the map. Go over here for Archmother. All the way over here. You can see it's pretty much the same. Not here. Where is it? Help, I'm being trolled. Okay, yeah, here it is. Yeah, it's pretty much the same room layout. Comes from the walker. It has like a jump up here you can do. Pretty easy wall bounce, kind of like the one in the hidden shop. Stuff like this. There's boxes in here. Can take you out to the vent here. You can go to the walker, guardians, stuff like that. Really cool change. Nice little update to the map. They added the zero-way veils underneath the shrine platforms. Moved the mid lane bridge above the hidden king base entrance more to the middle of the two edges. So I'm pretty sure that's over here. We're talking about this one. Pretty sure we're talking about this one. I think it's just more centered now rather than being kind of lopsided for one direction. If I had to guess. Not really sure right now, but if there's a before and after, it'd be more obvious. Subsequent CC reduction increased from 8%, 24% to 10 to 30%. So it's harder to get chain CC'd, or at least it's not as punishing to get chain CC'd, which I think is a nice change. Move speed diminishing ramp now occurs around 11 meters per second rather than 10 meters. Fixed melee abilities not using conditional damage based on enemy state, close quarters, point blank, opening rounds. You know, kind of just something that should exist. Street Brawl, they removed the item slot limit, so you don't need to sell items in the final round sometimes. Another good change. I think it was kind of silly that you needed to sell items. They added a new item, Golden Goose Egg. If you look in Spirit here, there's a new item, Golden Goose Egg. 800 souls for a minus 10% damage penalty, 1 meter sprint speed, and 1 out of combat regen. When you It has an active to pop the egg, and you gain souls and permanent buffs. The value of the egg grows the longer you hold it. You gain a permanent buff per 200 souls stored when hatched. So, this is basically a pretty good support item for someone who doesn't want to lane too proactively early, but wants the scaling for later. There's a couple heroes I can imagine that this will be good on. My first thought is a lot of supports. A lot of supports and a lot of characters who want to kind of just scale, especially off of Spirit. I don't know what the permanent buffs are, but I can imagine that there's something like mini bridge buffs maybe, or like from getting the boxes where it's like 4% weapon damage or something like that. Now, there's a ton of changes to items here. These are all of the item changes right here. Extended magazine, weapon damage increased from 6% to 8%. High velocity rounds no longer grants you fire rate and now grants weapon damage. High velocity rounds also have an increased bullet velocity from 50 to 60%. And it also carries overed upgrades. Long range has a higher fall off range now, so you get an extra damage bonus from a further range. Active reload lets you actively reload when you are already full on ammo, which is just a nice little QOL change. Opening rounds, spirit power increased from 8 to 10. Opening rounds also grants an extra 5% damage bonus on top of the 40 it had, so it's 45% instead of 40%. Swift Striker, fire rate increased from 18 to 20%. Pretty simple. Mystic Shot, damage spirit scaling increased from 0.8 to 1.0. I think that's a very good change and makes it a lot more optimal on certain characters who want to build spirit but still scale with gun. So, it now just scales 1-to-1 with your spirit damage for the next bullet you shoot every 8 seconds. Pretty solid. Split Shot has a reduced cooldown from 32 to 24 seconds. Split Shot Believers Rejoice. Early Ricochet is now strong. Split Shot now supports custom count and angles per hero. I don't know what that means. I'm going to be real with you. Split Shot now works for Celeste. 3 at 70 degrees. I imagine it just makes the item actually work with her. Backstabber no longer exists. It's renamed to Stalker. And Stalker kind of got some small changes. It no longer cares about the angle as to which you attack somebody. It's mostly just doing damage in close range to open wounds. This will probably be a lot better of an item on characters like Silver or something like that, because now it doesn't really care about being behind enemies, it just cares about being close to enemies instead. And Silver already built items like slowing bullets, close combat, things like that. Melee charge, the heavy melee bonus damage now works with heavy melee abilities. Spirit Shredder bullets. Spirit lifesteal increased from 8 to 12%. Pretty solid. Much better of a shred option for people who want that. Weakening a headshot gives you 10 extra bonus health. Not really an important buff. Ballistic enhancement. Weapon damage per stack increased from 18 to 20%. Extra 2% can push over the threshold of wanting to actually buy it, but its range has been reduced from 30% to 25%. Ballistic enhancement also gives you non-hero weapon damage increase from 4 to 5%. Again, not that big, but it might be the threshold that breaks certain health like pools, especially for excuse me, especially for clearing camps with certain characters. Hunter's Aura got pretty nerfed. It used to triple the effects of it when there was only one enemy nearby, but now it is only doubled, which is, I think, pretty nice. It was pretty oppressive to be jumped on somebody with Hunter's Aura, but to compensate, they made the effect a little bit stronger, so it's not quite as strong as it was before when you're fighting only one person, but it's still relatively strong. They increased the fire reduction by 3%, so now it caps out at 28 rather than 33. And the bullet resist reduction is now 10% instead of 8, so instead of 24, it's now 20%, basically. Really solid. It's better, it's a lot better for group reducing, rather than actually being a global, like, kill one person. Weighted shots now builds from slowing bullets, which is a nice change. So, slowing bullets here builds into weighted shots, and then weighted shots gets the passive here. So now it gives you the slowing effect of slowing bullets as well as all the stats. Really nice change. I think weighted shots kind of needed that. I also really like having items upgraded into other items. I think it makes a lot of build paths cleaner and I think it lets you optimize a lot of things. I'm a big fan of it. Blood Tribute no longer has a healing reduction, and its self-damage increased from 40 to 50. This is probably going to be a really good item on characters that just have sustain now. Like, probably Victor, maybe. It might be an actual, like, must-build on Victor. Spirit Rend's cooldown reduced from 2.2 to 2 seconds, and Spirit Lifesteal increased from 8 to 12%. This just makes it in line with Spirit Shred. The Spirit Rend cooldown decreasing is pretty good. I think Crippling Headshot was a much better item to build in most situations if you cared about gun. But Spirit Rend now actually has its now has a run for its money. Crushing Fist now scales with heavy melee abilities. Unsurprising, they changed that. They buffed and nerfed Frenzy. They basically tweaked it. Frenzy's base fire rate increased from 8 to 10%, and Frenzy's base spirit resist increased from 10 to 15%. Frenzy's conditional fire rate reduced from 28 to 25%, and its conditional spirit resist reduced from 30 to 20%. So they made Frenzy kind of just give you less insane stats for more equalized stats overall. And I think it's probably a much more fair item now. Let's call it that. Spiritual Overflow. It now gives you 10 extra spirit power, but they changed the stacking modifier on it to be, instead of cooldown reduction, it's now duration, which kind of breaks the item in a lot of builds for certain characters, but it also lets it work for other characters. I'm a little sad because I really like Spiritual Overflow, but, you know, there's other items I can get. Extra Health now gives you 35 more extra health. Instead of 185, it's 210. Enduring Speed, fixed slow resistance interaction with dash slows. Restorative Locket, I love this item. If you've watched anything, I play a lot of Holiday. I really like Holiday. This item is really strong on Holiday. It increased the range, so let's go ahead and take a look at it real quick. Gives you Spirit Resist. When an enemy uses an ability within 35 meters range from you, you gain 1 restoration stack, and you can consume all stacks to heal yourself and replenish up to 4 stamina based on how many stacks you have. So they changed it by increasing the range by 5 meters as to which an ability procs you get a charge. And it increased the max stamina regen from 3 to 4, and it always now restores at least 1 stamina, which this is an insanely good change for the item. It makes it so much more consistent. Really strong. It's already strong on Holiday. It's going to be even better. A lot of the moving characters are really going to appreciate it. Return Fire. Returning damage now always hits the target's body. Some amount would naturally miss before, and some would be headshots. I hated this item because it really felt inconsistent. This makes a lot of sense. Always making it be consistent when it returns damage to somebody who shoots you makes it a much better item and actually a good counter to fire rate heavy characters. As a result, though, they reduced the return damage by 10%. I think that's fine. Weapon shielding, they buffed it, probably because there needed to be an early gun option, if I had to guess. Weapon shielding is whenever you take a significant amount of damage from... whenever you take significant amount of weapon damage from enemy heroes, you gain a shield and move speed. They basically just reduced the cooldown by 10 seconds and increased the threshold as to which it triggers. So kind of a nerf, but like the cooldown reduction on it's really nice. Bullet resilience. They buffed how much resistance you get at... Low health threshold increased from 40 to 50, but so you have to be at half health now instead of 40% health, but they reduced the amount of extra resistance you get, which I think helps a lot in the situation where you're getting one shot. Half health is a much nicer indicator than 40% health. Life Strike heal on melee hit reduced from 160 to 100 plus 1.5 divided by boon. Or 1.5 per boon, not divided by boon. This makes it scale better. I think Life Strike was really strong early game because it gave you so much sustain off the minions. Having it scale now is probably much more appropriate. Heal on melee hit percentage reduced from 50 to 30% plus 0.5% per boon. Again, a nice little scaling change. Makes it a lot less OP in the early game. Majestic Leap barrier increased from 140 to 200. Just a nice little like threshold change for Majestic Leap. Trophy Hunter now gives you an extra 3 souls per minute. Really solid. I think this item is really good on certain supports. I think it's going to be even better now it is. They buffed Dispel Magic's cooldown by 10 seconds, which I think is very, very nice. Fortitude. Now, you start regenerating health after 10 seconds instead of 13. They nerfed Spellbreaker to reduce the damage from 75 to 65%. I think reducing the power from Spellbreaker and giving you options in other areas is a really solid way to push the item. I think it was pretty much just a must build in most bursty situations, and it had way too much value. Diviner's Kevlar cooldown reduced from 64 to 40 seconds. Let me casting an ultimate ability, gain a barrier and temporary spirit power. So now the cooldown is much shorter for that. Inhibitor damage penalty reduced from 35% to minus 30%. Inhibitor was a really strong item on a lot of characters, and the damage penalty stacked a lot better with certain characters like Silver, whose scaling is pretty messed up with damage reducers, but implying a damage penalty to enemies was much better on Silver, and I think nerfing this item is pretty nice. They nerfed a lot of items that made Silver really strong, which I think is a good way to approach it. They did, however, increase the weapon damage bonus by 3% to make up for this. Cheat death. Whenever you are in like the fake death part, they got rid of the movement speed reduction. Whenever you activate Colossus, not only do you get a character model size increase, but you also get 30% melee damage. Siphon bullets. This change is crazy. You now steal 2.5% of an enemy's max HP per bullet instead of a fixed amount. Siphon bullets is going to go crazy on characters with fire rate. Like Ivy, Viper, this is going to just completely obliterate your health bar. Mystic Regeneration, which is the... Which item is that again? It's the one with the... Yeah, this one. Dealing spirit damage to enemy heroes grants you bonus health regen stacks when dealing damage to different heroes. Yeah. So they increased the health bonus and increased the regeneration duration by a second. Rusted Barrel's cooldown went down. Arcane Surge spirit power increased from 15 to 20. I think Arcane Surge was by far the worst stamina upgrade possible. Slowing Hex now makes the gravity of an enemy to a fixed plus 20% heavier, regardless of their own base values. Slowing Hex in a lot of situations, of course it disables movement abilities, but against the characters who kind of fit in the niche of having, like, their abilities influence movement, it didn't feel like a really solid alternative. Lash is obviously a good one, because you can just Slowing Hex the Lash, but if he's already in the air, and you Slowing Hex him, it doesn't really do much, because he already used the cooldown to get up in the air, and he's already flying out of combat, and it's already hard to hit him. Giving him extra, or giving Slowing Hex the extra gravity, I think makes it a lot easier to hit these people. They also increased the projectile as to which Slowing Hex travels out, and the cooldown's been reduced by 3 seconds. Suppressor, the debuff duration as to which you're silenced, is increased from 4 seconds to 5 seconds. Spirit Sap got pretty heavily buffed, and I think that's a good change. Let's go ahead and look at Spirit Sap real quick. You target enemy power to reduce... You target an enemy to reduce their spirit resist and spirit power. And this upgrades into Focus Lens. Focus Lens obviously is insanely good, but Spirit Sap never really felt like it was actively worth it. However, the cooldown's basically been halved from 32 to 18 seconds, and the spirit power loss has been increased from 24 to 30. DK's healing reduction increased from 45 to 50. Silence Wave now scales 1-to-1 with your spirit, which I think makes it a much more viable option into characters that you want to silence. Cooldown been reduced by 5 seconds. Knockdown now increases gravity by 2-fold when the stun hits you, so you fall to the ground faster. Good change. I really like being able to have more counterplay against people that are flying, even though I play Holiday myself and it hurts a lot. I think it's really good. Radiant Regeneration now gets 90 health instead of 65, and the duration for the regen is increased from 5 to 6 seconds. This makes it consistent with Mystic Regeneration. And healing on ability cast boon scaling increased from 1.5 to 2.0. Pretty solid. Tank Buster got buffed to be from 7.5% to 8%. Not really the biggest change in the world, just kind of a numbers like tweak. Nothing too crazy. Torment Pulse got its damage scaling reduced by a little bit. I think this is a pretty serious nerf, and it's going to not be applicable on so many characters. However, Torment Pulse no longer wakes up sleeping enemies. Thank God. Very nice. Disarming Hex's cooldown got reduced. Magic Carpet's duration got increased, and the bonus health got increased. Ethereal Shift's cooldown got reduced. Cursed Relic's damage penalty increased to 10%, and Vortex Web now has a unit target option where it'll vacuum enemies around that target. This is really nice. I'm a big fan of how they changed all of the items here to actually be a little bit more flexible. I think it makes a lot more options viable, and it takes away the auto includes. I think it adds a lot more flexibility for the items. I really like the direction they pushed a lot of this. So there's a bunch of character changes. If you don't care and only want to look at your main, I'll be sure to have descriptions in the timestamp below. So you can take a look at how they changed your Pookie, or they didn't change your Pookie. So, Abrams. Bullet damage reduced from 3.86 plus 0.13 per boon to 3.6 plus 0.1 per boon. Abrams' bullet damage got pretty heavily nerfed here, and it does not scale as hard as it did before. Pretty unfortunate, but I think it was a little bit needed. Siphon Life's DPS got reduced from 29 to 22, and the range got reduced from 10 meters to 7.5. However, it is now circular rather than just in front of him, because before, it was a cone that worked specifically in front of him. Don't worry, I'm on the case. But now it's all a circle, rather than being a cone. You trade that for the extra... for losing the range, and I think it makes it much better when you're being swarmed and there's people all around you instead of having to just focus on one person in specific. And I think it incentivizes him to go in more rather than being a one-person destruction machine. The range no longer scales with spirit power either. Siphon Life visual range effects fixed to show larger than default radius values. I didn't even know this was a thing. I'm really glad that's fixed. However, the lifesteal against heroes has been increased from 66 to 80%, and the lifesteal against non-heroes has also been increased. This value is really nice. I think it puts him in the direction that they want to intend for him to be, rather than what he was doing. DPS spirit scaling increased. The tier 1... Oh yeah, they changed the tiers for the ability. So... Oops. Tab. Tier 1... minus 20 second cooldown. Tier 2, 2 second duration, and Tier 3 gives 3.5 radius with plus 18 DPS and improved spirit scaling. I think these upgrades are more meaningful, but they also reduce the DPS from Tier 3 from 20 to 18. The shoulder charge damage has been reduced from 37 to 30, but the wall stun duration has been reduced from 0.6 to 0.3. Now, before you actually like freak out about that, the upgrade for it increases the stun duration whenever you hit a wall. So it now adds an extra 0.8 seconds. So they basically reallocated the stun time from one area to another. So it's a really short stun if you actually hit somebody at level 1. Now at level 2, it's a pretty sizable stun that you can actually get the free melee off still. They reduced the spirit scaling for the charge. They also changed the other ability of it, so applies 40% slow for 3 seconds, and on the tier 3, minus 20% cooldown. When you collide with the hero, you get 1.5 weapon damage for 6 seconds. Infernal Resilience, his passive. Tier 2 increased from 150 health to 200, and Tier 3 now grants 20% debuff resistance. For those who aren't familiar, Tier 1 gives him health regen. He gains bonus defensive attributes, and taking damage grants temporary regeneration for the portion of the damage taken. Abrams' ult, Seismic Impact, is a little faster to target the location when rising, and its damage impact has been increased from 75 to 100. You can also now use items during Seismic Impact, which is really nice for things like Metal Skin or Unstoppable, stuff like that. I think it's a very nice, well, of course, tier 5 gives you Unstoppable, but like, you know, when you're earlier in the game and you want to have Unstoppable anyway, like you've already bought it before you get to tier 5, it's really nice still. So, I think I really like the power allocation to his ult. I think it makes him more impactful at different points in the game, rather than just kind of making him really strong all the time. Really solid. The impact radius has been reduced, but of course the last upgrade now increases the radius by 6 meters. Really solid. Now, Apollo got some small changes here. Riposte, fixed riposte not leaving the ground when started on the ground. Riposte no longer triggers from trooper or neutral damage. This is a really nice change that felt pretty uninteractive when you're trying to fight Apollo in the minion wave, because he would just run in front, take all of, or like he would take minion aggro and then stun you off of the riposte. It's really nice that it actually asks you to take damage, or you to deal damage to him for the riposte. Flawless Advance Tier 2 no longer increases Apollo's lunge speed, and Flawless Advance now gets interrupted by stun and sleep. Really nice change, actually adds like counterplay to him, especially because he stands still. Really solid. I think Apollo is relatively weak because his scaling is kind of off in the end, in like late game, but I think giving counterplay to opponents is really solid. His ult damage got decreased, but the spirit scaling got increased. I think this makes him much more viable late game. Very nice. And the hit width no longer scales with radius increases, so it's basically always a straight line rather than increasing with radius increases. Bebop got one change. Hook can now be cancelled. Thank goodness. The amount of Bebops who would accidentally hook me, I mean, they're probably still gonna do it, I'm not gonna lie. The amount of Bebops that would hook me and then not let go of me because I was like in the middle of like fragging out, it was pretty bad. They're probably still gonna do that. I hate this character. It's pretty bad, but it is what it is. Billy got a bunch of changes. Bash down radius reduced from 4.5 to 4 meters. Bash down tier 2 increased from 1.3 meter radius to +1 charge and 2 meter radius. So Billy's tier 2 of bash down they basically reallocated power to the actual upgrades itself. Tier 3 now also reduces charge time by 2 seconds. So
I'll cave in their skull.
Yeah, you can see here, and especially now that it deals 6% heavy melee damage, it now scales with things like close quarters and things like that. Really solid Billy changes here. I think it gives him some nice power in actually scaling. Rising ram damage reduced from 55 to 40. Rising ram damage spirit scaling increased from 1.7 to 1.9. And the cooldown is now reduced flat out by 50% on impact. This used to be a tier 1 upgrade for him, but now it is just flat out, it's on the ability. The charge duration has been reduced though from 0.5 seconds to 0.3 seconds. So now you you charge for less time overall, but you get more charges overall.
Time for the running of the good.
Which I think is a pretty solid change. And they also made it to where you get the extra duration back as an upgrade rather than the cooldown, which was already. Blasted spirit scaling reduced overall from 0.8 to 0.6, and blasted active duration no longer slows the decay when doing bullet damage. Melee still extends it though. Blasted passive no longer reduces enemy fire rate by 14%, and the tooltip has been simplified. Tier 3 now also increases spirit scaling by 0.6. So, melee hits restore ammo and inflict wrecked on the victim. Bullets are amplified against wrecked enemies using melee, boosts max health, and extends the duration of it. Which I think is a really solid. I really like the way that they're allocating power from the character's base kit into changing it in the upgrades. It makes characters more powerful at different levels of the game, and I think that those power spikes are interesting to build around and give more creativity to the people that are actually playing them. Because now we can actually sit here and theorize, like, oh, what upgrade path do you want to go first? Because you only get so many amount of skill points per time in the game. And I think allocating the power it gives more power to the player to make decisions rather than always just being like, oh, I'm always going to take blasted, like I'm just going to level up blasted all the way to level 5, right? I'm not saying you did that before, but just, you know. Chain gang radius has been reduced from 13 to 12 meters, and it no longer grants spear or bullet resist. Now, before you freak out, the cooldown has also been increased by 25 seconds. So before you freak out, a lot of the power has been reallocated into the upgrades. Tier 1 now grants 40% spirit and bullet resist rather than granting cooldown. Really high numbers. Really, really high numbers. It'll allow you to actually get your ult off. Now, Tier 2 has been changed from giving you this flat spirit and bullet resist to just reducing the cooldown by almost a minute. Insane. And Tier 3 now grants you plus 1.3 seconds unstoppable for each hero pulled in. Really cool. Really cool how this scales for fat ults. I think incentivizing him to be a brawler overall, rather than just kind of a single person chain gang, is really nice. Tier 3 no longer grants 90 damage, and Tier 3 also increases the radius by 5 meters. So you lose the 1 meter here, you gain 5 here, so it's overall increased for 4. Really nice. So, Calico. Calico also got a good number of changes. Your bullets no longer have gravity on Calico. They always fire in a straight line. See, they always fire in a straight line. They also added an additional pellet to her gun, but they say that DPS has been unchanged. DPS is still the same. The center pellet is now considered the primary pellet for headshots, for any items or whatever that scale off of headshots. Bloom bombs have been changed, so the first grenade always lands in the middle. There's less RNG with the actual bombs. A pretty nice change to make the character feel pretty responsive. The sticky radius has been increased from 10 to 15 meters, and Gloom Bomb's cast delay reduced from 0.15 seconds to 0.1 seconds. Gloom Bomb's tier 2 changed from 16.2 damage to 75 bonus damage against barriers. I was saying that this game, well, my girlfriend actually mentioned that this game would be really nice if there was any ability that interacted with barriers, because there's certain comps and certain characters who really struggle against barriers. And I wish this game had like a Serpent's Fang, like how League has. So, Calico's Leaping Slash has improved targeting of dash to end early if near enemy heroes. So, I know before that you could do tech to leap like down with your leap to actually get a direct one like right on you. And it seems like they actually improved that targeting as well. So, if I spawn an enemy like right here, and I'm like in his face, wrong button, it actually stops here rather than continuing past him, so you don't just accidentally fumble the dash past him. I think it's really nice. I think it's a nice change that makes Calico more consistent. She feels a lot better to play, I will say, most likely. Of course, Calico mains, let me know what you think. I think these are good changes, though. So, let's see. Leaping Slash tier. Oh yeah, Leaping Slash can now dash vertically even when on the ground. Another good change as well. Leaping Slash tier 2 changed from plus 40 damage to plus 300 souls on hero kill. Really nice for her kit and what her playstyle wants to be. Leaping Slash tier 3 changed from 50% CDR to hit to 50%, minus 50% CDR and plus 60 damage. Really nice buff for her, I feel. I really like the power allocation here. However, the radius has been reduced from 4.5 meters to 4 meters. Trading the quality of life for getting less range, I think, is a pretty fair trade. It's much more consistent, and you don't need the extra range to hit as many group shots before. Ava can no longer manipulate movement if meleeing when midair. That's a pretty serious change for Ava, but it does make sense, unfortunately. Ava now uses a health bar modifier style for duration, and they fixed the camera not being centered around Ava when you're in Ava. The melee attack reduced from 0.4 seconds to 0.0 seconds, so there's basically no melee delay. And the attack melee cooldown has been increased slightly by 0.1 second. And the attack now goes the way you are looking. Really nice like feel for the character. Ava now starts at a minimum speed and then increases to max speed over time, resetting on taking damage. So she doesn't just stop, start. You get the idea. Ava cooldown reduced from 45 to 30 seconds. Duration reduced by 1 second, but the tier 1 duration increased from plus 14 to plus 15. Again, just reallocating power. Ava tier 2 changed from 45% speed to plus 45% speed and 15 health regen. Really nice buffs for Calico here, honestly. Ava tier 3 change from minus 20% cooldown and 35 health regen to growing damage amp the longer you are transformed. That's really cool and really strong. Return to shadows now allows from some vertical flight movement during channel. Really? I'm gonna test that out real quick. It now has a channel bar, and tier 2 reduced from 67.5 damage to 65. Small little nerf. And tier 3 no longer grants 18% damage amp, but grants 350 healing instead. Okay.
And for my next trick.
Oh, that is you get the flight controls. That is actually really nice. I think Calico mains are really gonna enjoy that because you get to actually you actually get to follow people that have vertical movement now, instead of kind of just being locked into popping the ult and kind of just aimlessly following them. That's really nice. You used to be locked at the elevation you were. Now you actually get to control where you're going. Really, really nice change for her ult. Calico's gonna feel so much better to actually play, in my opinion. So, Celeste got some changes here. Her gravity has been reduced, which is actually a buff. She floats more nowadays. You can see that when I jump here, I kind of float for longer overall. She floats a lot more. However, this comes at a downside that her air control acceleration has been reduced. So she has less air control and less acceleration. She can't do as much insane stuff as she did before, but she gets gravity in exchange for that. Her ultimate, when it bounces, the range has been reduced from 17 to 15 meters. Really nice. I hate that ultimate. I hate when my teammates always walk into me with the ultimate. The linger duration has been reduced from 4.5 seconds to 3.25 seconds. A really serious nerf over a second, so it's a lot easier to get rid of the ult mid-fight. And those are all the Celeste changes we got. Not sure how it's going to actually play out. Celeste is really strong, but I think the item allocation earlier is going to help her a lot. Doorman got a bunch of changes here as well. Gun now pierces through targets at 50% reduced damage.
It's important to never overlook.
So does that mean it's like actually gonna... Let me spawn another guy behind here as enemy. So you can actually like collat... Wow, you actually can like collat people now. That's cool, especially with like the keyhole like motif from the gun itself. I think that's really cool. I think this makes him I think this gives him more options for crowd control overall. And like, I can't wait to see the Doorman gun build where he's just mowing people down with his gun. He's just playing Revolver Gunman. Revolver Gunman? Yeah, Gunman. He's Gunman now. Call bell time between charges increased from 4 to 6 seconds. There's a lot less spam involved with it now. You have to be much more articulate with where you're throwing it and how you're throwing it. You can't spam damage. Call bell no longer has impact damage. It was 40 with 1.0 scaling. It has 0 now. Explosion damage increased from 55 to 85. And the explosion spirit damage scaling has been reduced. So it's going to do less damage overall at a base level. However, tier 1 increases the range or the explosion radius. Let me see. Yeah, the explosion radius to plus 2.5 meters. Tier 2 no longer has impact damage, and Tier 2 explosion damage has increased from 40 to 75. Tier 2 now also increases your spirit scaling by 0.6, so you get more power from here, more power in the actual ability itself. Doorman Tier 3 of Call Bell now changed from impact causes half radius explosions to +1 charge and +22% on lifetime. Causes the radius to continuously apply its slow. Really solid change here. I think removing the impact damage reduces its spamability, and you actually need to like be more calculated with that. Doorway now has a timer icon above the ability. So if I put a door here,
Destiny awaits.
a door here, yeah, you can see for how long the door is actually going to last for. Really nice. You don't have to like memorize the time. Nice. Tier 1 duration increased from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. So doors last longer. Tier 2 barrier duration increased from 8 seconds to 12 seconds. This is going to feel really tangible in the midst of fights. Really nice. Doorway Tier 3 distance now also scales with spirit power. So is this how far away you can put the door? Yeah, so this is how far away you can put the door, and the door distance scales with spirit power. So if you play full spirit power, you can put a door basically anywhere on the map, probably, I would imagine. Like, let's go ahead and just build, like, Let's say like Boundless Spirit and like Rapid Recharge. Let's say that. Now, if I put a door here, how far away can I actually put this? Okay, so the duration. Okay, it's like that's the range of it. Oh wait, I didn't actually upgrade it, did I? Nope.
I must be clever when placing these.
So, put a door here.
After you.
Oh wow, that's a really nice bonus to range actually. That's a really nice bonus to range. That's cool. That's really cool. This is gonna allow you to get teams out of like out of bad fights, especially at like tier 3. You're gonna be a really nice support actually. Really cool. Luggage cart is now 20% larger. 20% wider hitbox as well. That's crazy. You're gonna be able to hit way more people with this. Tier 1 has been changed from -8 seconds cooldown to 60 to plus 60 damage. Luggage cart tier 2 increased from 15 meters cast range to plus 20. And luggage cart tier 3 changed from plus 45 cart damage and 117 wall damage and 1.2 seconds wall stun to plus 1.5 second wall stun and 15 second cooldown. It looks like a lot of the changes they're actually doing with Doorman's character is less spammy and more like calculated like actual like gameplay, I suppose, which is nice, I think. Doorman fixed issues where a cart would hit the target coming out of the hotel before they were supposed to allow to be hit, causing the cart to not properly drag the target. Okay. Hotel guest cast range increased from 6 to 7 meters. No! 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 Hotel guest no longer goes on cooldown if the target dies during the cast. Nice change. Hotel guest fixed enemies not always landing in the correct spot on return. Really nice for setups. Hotel guest now supports instant cast settings. Really nice as well. I'm an instant cast user. I think this is nice. Hotel guest returning guest now has 100% slow time that decays to 0% over 1 second. That's nice. Hotel guest cost of stay damage reduced from 150 to 75, and failing to check out does 125 instead of 250. Again, reducing his damage overall to put more power elsewhere in his kit. Really nice. Tier 1 changed from 2 meters cast range to -1 stamina and 25% cooldown. -25 second cooldown. Doorman ult hitting you with -1 stamina is crazy. You like need to learn the rollouts now. That's really nice. If anyone ever commits to a fight with you without stamina, or like they use stamina to get to you, this just obliterates them. Tier 2 changed from unstoppable while channeling to 1.5 seconds stun on failure to check out and 150 damage. So they basically reallocated the damage when you fail to check out, and they added an extra stun. Really nice. Tier 3 changed from -50% cooldown to unstoppable while hotel is occupied? What? So whenever someone's in the hotel, you're unstoppable? That's crazy. And it gets a 10-second cooldown on failure to check out? Wait, what? Hang on. Spot an enemy. Let's turn on cooldowns.
The Baroness opens its arms.
So I'm unstoppable right now. Wait, and he doesn't... I have a 10-second cooldown? Oh my... That is crazy. That is crazy. You are really rewarded for setting up doors setting up... Like, his whole kit is now pushed around actually having setups for everything, rather than just kind of spamming it. I really like that, and it feels... I think it'll feel much better as a Doorman player to spend time investing in this. Like, it adds more of a skill gap rather than just kind of spamming whatever, like, his abilities are off cooldown, you know? Like, mid-fight, just pop your ult on somebody, and, like, they just get out, and it's kind of like, whatever. You actually want them to fail the checkout for its full effects. Like, obviously, you want it to before for the damage, but, like, it's... I think it's really nice still. It's really, really nice. Really cool character. I think they allocated his power in a much more interesting way. I'm a really big fan of these patch notes. I'm not just glazing them because I'm like just doing it for the love of the game. I'm doing it because I think these changes are good. I'm being honest with them. So, now to Drifter. Right and damage range reduced from 18 to 16 meters. Now, if I am correct,
We all got weaknesses.
Rend
but
is
mercy
his. Yep.
ain't one of mine.
So the range of this got reduced by 2 meters. Rend cooldown increased from 13 to 16 seconds, and its spirit scaling has been increased. Okay. The bonus damage is now the melee range at close range. So you only do melee damage at close range, and spirit is the default. Okay, so you actually so it's now all spirit damage except for close, where it does melee damage. Okay. Tier 1 bonus damage is +8 more, and Rend Tier 3. Shut up, Earn. The fact that it eats your stamina too. Yeah, Doorman eating your stamina is crazy. Rend Tier 3 changed from gain 45% boil lifesteal against affected enemies for 4 seconds to close range attacks now silence enemies for 2.3 seconds. I'm a really big fan of this. Stalker's Mark duration reduced from 6 seconds to 5 seconds. If you aren't familiar, this is the one where you get to teleport to a target if he hits you with it, and he kind of throws it out like this in a straight line. So if there's an enemy here, let me bots, it's an enemy. Let me turn cooldown.
There's nowhere to run.
This is where you teleport to. So, Stalker's Mark has 1 second less duration, and Tier 1 changed from +1% bleed to -8% bullet resist. Tier 2 changed from +22% fire rate for 6 seconds after ambush to +3 seconds duration, -8 second cooldown. Stalker's Mark Tier 3 changed from enables 2 charges and 2 second duration to +2% bleed and -40% healing. I think this is a really nice change overall. I think it makes this much less of a steroid, and I think putting the actual stats onto the items he needs to buy incentivizes him to farm properly and actually engage with the game in the way that most characters need to. I wonder if counterspelling the end of Doorman ult gives him the 10-second cooldown. We can try that if you want later. Drifter. Bloodset now grants Drifter the same amount of permanent bonus weapon damage when an isolated hero dies nearby, whether Drifter gets the assist or kill. This is crazy. That's an insane change, but it's gonna feel a lot better for Drifter now to actually get the stacks. It's kind of like when Glass Cannon, you can't get any kills yourself and they get stolen from you. Bloodset permanent bonus weapon damage gained for isolated target reduced from 4% to 3%. Oh, that's a pretty... Okay. They made the stacks less impactful, but easier to get. Okay. Bloodset Tier 2 changed from isolated kills, reduced cooldowns for 3 seconds, and restores 3 stamina, to isolated deaths, restore 18% missing health, and restores 2 stamina. Again, big fan of this. Less spammy, more calculated. His ult now makes targets considered to be isolated. Oh, that's disgusting. And sprint speed reduced from 3 meters to 2 meters, and no longer has 7 damage spirit proc. Eternal Light cooldown reduced from 120 seconds to 125 seconds. The duration has been reduced by 0.5 seconds. Tier 1 no longer gives you spirit damage proc to 10 meters sprint speed. What? Wait, what? I'm in there. I'm turbo drifting. What? I'm drifting. Oh, I'm fucking drifting, dude. That's crazy. What? That is crazy. You get to drift around. That's insane. That is crazy. This is also gonna make him a pain in the ass to chase too, because literally, if you're being chased by 4 people, you just go, bye. I'm out. Bye. It's literally like worse to dash with this on. You want to just run. That's crazy. What?
The blood calls to me.
Yeah, you don't want the air drag penalty, so you want to just run in a straight line. Oh, he really is the drifter now. Wait, so true. That's crazy. That is absolutely insane. Tier 2 changed from -30 second cooldown and 3 meters per second sprint speed to -45 second cooldown. And Tier 3 increased from 2 second duration 1 max target to 2.5 duration plus 1 max target. Huh. That's crazy. Drifter got some crazy changes. Drifter, I really like the power allocation, TBH. Also, hi dogs, how are you? Next on to Dynamo. The big boy got some changes. Alright. Bullet damage increased from 12.2 to plus 0.44 to 12.6 plus 0.5. Okay, they made him more... They made him more... reliable with his gun. Kinetic pulse cooldown increased from 22 to 60 seconds. They increased the damage from 90 to 115. Oh my goodness. This is gonna hurt. What do you mean? Oh my goodness. Why is my ping so bad? So, and then now, we... Chat, I got food. Kinetic pulse cooldown, okay, yeah. Damage. Range reduced from 20 meters to 16 meters. I'm kind of a fan of this. This ability had such insane range. Pulse range alone increased with spirit scaling. Spirit scaling increased from 1.7 to 2.1. Okay. Tier 1 changed from 35% move slow and minus 30% fire rate to plus 1 charge. Tier 2 changed from 30% bullet damage for 8 seconds to reduces bullet resist. Okay. I mean, this puts more power into him being a support instead of like a solo carry himself, which I think is kind of his direction. Tier 3 changed from plus 104 damage to plus 1 charge. Whoa, what? They add 135 damage and 16 meters cast range. What? Wait, what? So does it... That's insane! What? That's crazy. That hits so far away. That's insane. What? Well, that's the tier 5 though, which is really nice actually. Big fan of that. Quantum Entanglement no longer grants fire rate, no longer reloads ammo. Quantum Entanglement base ability now restores 1 stamina. Ally distance increased from 10 to 13 meters. Range increased from 9 to 10 meters. Okay, so they removed a lot of the power. Did they reallocate it in the abilities? Tier 1 increased from plus 4 meter range to plus 6. Tier 2 changed from plus 20% fire rate to 6 second cooldown. And Tier 3 changed from minus 5 second cooldown and plus 120 ammo to dispels non-ult debuff. Whoa, what? That's sick. He grouped dispel magics on his quantum entanglement. What?
My condition has its advantages.
That is so nice. What? I like that. I'm such a fan of that. I'm really glad they're putting more power. Like, they're making less of these abilities steroids that just increase, like, your damage or fire rate or whatever. And they're putting more of that power. Like, they're wanting items to carry that power rather than abilities, which I really like, personally. I really like that they're adding more utility in abilities. Bars, by the way. So, like, it's actually, like, things you get to play around, rather than just kind of, like, just go, haha, I shoot people. Hi, cutie. I was testing. There's some insane changes this patch. Shooting Aurora cooldown increased from 45 to 48 seconds. Kind of, whatever. That was a 1 second linger on allies. Oh, nice. You can now jump while using it. Okay. Rejuvenating Aurora, Tier 1, changed from plus 4 move speed for 8 seconds of full channel, or provides plus 4 move speed during channel. Oh, okay, I like that. It can be a really cool chase tool. Rejuvenating Aurora Tier 2 cooldown from minus 14 to minus 20 seconds. Okay, so they kind of reallocated the power. Rejuvenating Aurora Tier 2 also increased duration by 1 second. Singularity no longer does max health percent. DPS increased from 40 to 75, and the spirit scaling increased from 0.19 to 0.28. Tier 3 increased from 4% max health DPS to 5.5. Oh, so they just reallocated this to the Tier 3. Okay. I mean, I'm a pretty big fan. Okay, cool. All of the Dynamo. Sounds like support's got a really big, really got a lot of love, and you're really excited for Kelvin. I haven't gotten to Kelvin yet. We're kind of almost there. Are we? Yep, we're like a couple characters off. But it seems like they really retuned supports from just being like carries. Graves only got a few changes. Grasping Hand is now set up to work through proper alternative cast methods to be more responsive. Okay. The immobilized duration of Grasping Hands has been reduced by 0.25 seconds. Okay. Grasping Hands cooldown reduced from 38 to 34 seconds. That's fine. Tier 2 changed from 0.75 immobilized duration to wall length and 90 damage. Whoa, okay. Tier 3 changed from the wall length and cooldown, which is kind of here, to mobilized duration and cooldown. Okay, yeah, so they just reallocated the power again. Big fan. Haze. Spirit per boon reduced from 1.1 to 0.5. Sleep Dagger's move speed reduced from 0.2 seconds to 1.5. How does that feel? Let me go ahead and spots. And then
My
Haze.
services are needed once more.
Spawn enemy. Make mimic. Wow, you are so slow during this, actually. Wow. Okay. I'm glad they made the, like, skill shot a little bit more. Wake up delay no longer increase with spirit scaling. Okay. Cooldown increased from 26 to 30 seconds. And the duration has been reduced from 3 seconds to 2.75. Okay. Tier 1 changed from removal and stamina to minus 8% bullet resist reduction for 6 seconds. Tier 2 changed from 12-second cooldown and 60% stamina to minus 15% cooldown. Okay. Tier 3 changed from minus 12% bullet resist and minus 35% fire rate for 6 seconds on wake up to 0.5 second sleep duration, minus 50% move and dash slow for 2 seconds on wake up. Okay. Again, they're going less with the kind of just stat sticks and more of like specific intended things. Smoke Bomb cooldown increased from 30 seconds to 33. Whatever. Smoke Bomb duration spirit scaling reduced from 0.18 to 0.08. That's really low. Smoke Bomb no longer has a base 2 meters in vent sprint speed. Tier 1 grants you... Okay, they just reallocated Tier 1. Smoke Bomb Tier 2 changed from 10% bullet lifesteal to enables 2 ability charges. So does that mean you get...
Every one of our enemies will die.
Does that mean you get 2 of them? Oh yeah, it does. Okay.
Through them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of that. Tier 3 now grants +1 charge. Fixation reduced from 0.2 weapon damage per stack to... Oh, they slightly nerf fixation. If you don't know, fixation is the passive she gets whenever she shoots you to get extra damage per stack. From the Grave Charm is almost done. I have to work on flipping it back soon. Hell yeah. It looked really good. I'm really excited to see. Tier 1 spirit scaling increased from 3... Oh, they basically reallocated the power into spirit scaling. They reduced the flat spirit damage on Tier 1 from 50 to 40. Yes, they just put it in scaling. Tier 3 increased from 0.12 weapon damage to 0.14. Okay. Again, they reallocated the power from here to the Tier 3. Bullet Dance bonus fire rate reduced from 30% to 20%. Bullet Dance now has 60 base. Bullet Dance now has base 60% evasion. Oh. Duration spirit scaling increased from 0.06 to 0.08. Bonus bullet damage reduced from 10 to 7. And then that power is reallocated here. Now increases fire rate by 10%. Yeah, they kind of just Wait, Bullet Dance Tier 3 now fires at an additional target. What? Wait, what? Oh, so now it hits the closest two. Cool. Really cool. Infernus. Napalm damage reduced from 46 to 40. Napalm is his... I don't see that many Infernuses, to be honest with you. Also, no changes for Holiday. I'm so sad.
It's so nice to know that my years of antisocial behavior can be put to good use.
Okay, Infernus, thank you. Spew and Incendiary mixture dealing spear damage. Okay. Yeah, so they just reduced the damage of this by 6. Increased its spirit scaling by 0.3. Amplified damage taken now from 20% to 16%. Tier 2 lifesteal increased from 10% to 15%. Spirit scaling for Flame Dash increased from 0.8 to 1.0. Tier 1 now no longer gives you minus fire rate and now has less cooldown. Tier 2 DPS reduced from 27 to 20. Tier 2 net DPS now increases trail duration by 1 second, and no longer Tier 3 no longer reduces cooldown by 15 seconds, but it adds a charge. Okay. Tier 3 time between charges reduced from 20 seconds to 14. Melee can now build up afterburn. What? Oh. Okay, yeah, I mean, I like that change. I think that's a pretty... I think that was just like an overlooked thing. Okay, yeah. Afterburn Tier 1 changed from minus 20% spirit damage to plus 14 DPS. I like that it doesn't just reduce spirit damage, because it's kind of just like a... It works in some games or it doesn't. Tier 2 changed from 1 second burn duration to minus 35% spirit damage. Okay. Tier 3 changed from plus 23 DPS to 3 second max burn duration. Whoa, what? It adds extra burn on Tier 3? Punch Furnace? Yeah, when's the melee Infernus build coming out? All he's gonna do is just go...
No one outruns me.
Hey, guess what? Bitch, bitch, fuck you. Ah.
That should give us some breathing room. On the move.
Runs up to you, punches you, leaves. I mean, especially if you get 2 charge. Look, if you get 2 charges, you get 1 charge to go in there, punch him, 1 charge to get out. Come on, that's all I'm saying. Punch Infernus is crazy. That's all you need. Punch Infernus. Concussive combustion now causes the camera to move back a bit.
Let's ash him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Delay. The delay has been increased by 0.25 seconds. The radius has been reduced by a meter, and the cooldown has been increased by 15 seconds. The damage has been reduced by 25. Tier 1 change no longer gives you cooldown, now gives you 100 damage. Tier 2 changed from 0.5 second stun and 3 meters radius to minus 65 second cooldown and 65% explosion heal. What? That's crazy. Oh my goodness. And then the stun gets put on the Tier 3. Okay. Seems good. Ivy. Ivy now has minus 10% gravity.
Helping people's what I do.
So she can just float for longer, huh? Yeah. Cool. I think giving more characters access to specific kit like this is really nice. I really like how they're giving characters more movement like options here. Bullet damage reduced a little bit. Yeah, they want to tune her a little bit to be in pair of like with support. I get that she has wings, but it's objectively funnier to make the gargoyle lighter in air. Wait.
They think they're in control?
Doesn't the gravity nerf her stone form?
I'm not finished yet.
Because she'll hit the ground slightly
You're not
slower, no?
bringing me down. You can't hurt me.
Huh, interesting. That's an interesting thought. Wait, they renamed Kudzu Bomb. It's not Kudzu Bomb, it's Entangling Thorns. It's not Kudzu Bomb! It's not Kudzu Bomb, no! Wait, does she say Kudzu when she throws it still?
I'll slow him down. I'll do my part. I'm doing what I can. I'll get him. Mina! wrthcrw! Slowing them. I'll do my part. wrthcrw! La conseguiré.
I don't think she says that anymore, man. No! Whatever. Recharge time reduced from 8 seconds to 5 seconds. That's crazy. Oh, but they reduced the spirit scaling. That, dude, Ivy Thorns felt so strongly in game, actually. It was crazy. To be fair, that doesn't look like Kudzu. Yeah, I mean, that's fair, but, like, it's funny. Tier 2 changed from 2 seconds duration 2 meters radius increases spirit scaling. Okay, so you get the spirit. You get some of the spirit scaling, not all of it. Entangles enemies that remain in it for 2 seconds. What? What do you mean entangles enemies that remain in it for 2 seconds? Hang on.
I'll find my
So like
purpose
it like
again.
roots you?
I'll get him. I'm doing what I can. Slowing them.
Oh, yeah, it does, huh? That's cool. I like that. I like that. Watcher's Covenant renamed to Kudzu. Oh, wait, they moved the Kudzu power scaling. So, connection fire rate spirit scaling reduced from 0.25 to 1.8. Or to 0.18. Bola life steal spirit scaling reduced. Connection tier 1 changed from fire rate to move speed. They changed tier 2 to move speed bonus. Okay, so they just kind of swapped it around. That gives you fire rate and bullet life steal. Tier 3 changed from +1 tether count to ability is now always active. What? Ability is now always active? So it's just a passive now. That's crazy. What? That's really crazy. What? And you can change who it locks onto. Because you can go as friendly. Yeah, and then you can just change who it locks onto. What? That's crazy. It heals you? No, it replicates healing. And ignores the move speed. So I imagine it'll replicate the, like, passive, like, regen. Healing tempo Ivy. Wait. True, actually. Hang on. Where's healing tempo?
You're the classiest gargoyle I've ever had the pleasure of selling guns to, Ivy.
I mean, heal yourself now, like that. Yeah, you just all. Oh my! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Healing tempo Ivy is actually crazy. What? I mean, it also gives you bullet lifesteal too. Yeah, it gives you bullet lifesteal too. So even you can just. That is crazy. That is crazy. That's a really cool way to put power in Ivy's hands. I like that. I really like that. It also makes her less of like a solo flanker for some reason or another, you know? Like she has to have like somebody else around to do that. Really cool. Really big fan of it. Okay. Let me shake. Usually they change Backstabber? Yeah. We went over the items already. Stone form cooldown increased from 37 to 40 seconds. Spirit scaling reduced. Tier 1 of stone form now gives you max health. Okay. Tier 2 changed from 68 damage and stun to cooldown. Oh wow, this nerfs or this buffs the cooldown so much. I like that a lot though. It's a really strong part of her kit. Tier 3, instead of healing you... Oh, okay, so like they put the healing on tier 1. I think that's really nice for laning. 1 second stun and increased spirit scaling. Okay, so they give you the spirit scaling. Wait. They don't give it back to you, they double it and pass it on to the next person. Ivy's airdrop cast time removed. Instead, if you take damage, the ability will be unused. Wait. If you take damage, the ability will go on cooldown? Wait, hit me. Okay, I think it'd probably be from like a hero. Remove bots. Enemy. Make mimic. Whoa, that is so nice. I'm so tired of Ivy's literally just running away. That's so annoying that they just run away whenever you actually, like, start shooting them. Okay, well, that just stunned me. Oh, okay, but you can still do it with walkers though.
Lifting off.
Okay, so you can like dive like walkers and stuff. I think that's still a nice way to be able to do it. Yeah, so it's specifically enemy heroes. This is so nice that you can't just run away with it. I hated that you could just run away with it for no reason. Infernus laughing while your ult's on perma cooldown. Oh my god. Spirit scaling reduced from 2.3. Wow, that obliterates the spirit damage scaling. Cooldown reduced from 100 seconds to 65. Oh, that's cool. Duration increased from 16 to 21 seconds. Base max speed increased from 11:18 to 10:22. So it's slower immediately, but faster at max. Okay. Does it mean Torment Pulse just means she can't ult ever if she's in range? That's a good... Yeah, actually, that's a good question. She just can't ever ult near somebody that's Torment Pulsing. Well, Torment Pulse also has like a... Well, I guess the... Like, the tick is faster than the 5 seconds. That's probably the case, yeah. Airdrop now grants you and your ally 20% outgoing damage. Whoa, what? 20% outgoing damage after dropping. Just as a base ability. Air bomb. The airdrop bomb no longer causes a knockup. It no longer slows on explode by default. No longer provides a barrier by default. Airdrop Bebop combo. No! No, 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 no! No, 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 no. I'm gonna get Bebopped every game by Ivy now because she increases his damage and everything. No! Oh, wait, no, that's after dropping, actually. Never mind, that wouldn't even work. Drops a haze on your head, have fun? No, literally, like, hello? Like,
Could be anywhere.
imagine you're fighting on Walker, right? You're fighting on Walker, and there's like a huge team fight, like right here, right? And your Ivy is like, yo, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. And the Ivy ults you and flies up over, drops a bomb, drops you behind, and then you pop like a Hazel. Oh my god, that's juicy. Dude, they gave support so much love in this patch. That's awesome. I kind of like want to play a support. Tier 1 change from -10 bullet resist to enemies for 8 seconds to grant you and your allies 300 barrier with spirit scaling last 12 seconds. Celeste, don't... Okay, look, you just ruined it for everybody, okay? You just ruined it for everybody. Airdrop tier 2 change from turn barrier to 5%. No. Explode applies 50% slow for 3 seconds. Airdrop tier 3 now increases damage scaling by plus 1.5 and barrier scaling by 1.0. Okay, damn. Okay, Kelvin. By the way, we're like not even close to being done yet. We still have so many characters to go over. They nerfed for this. They nerfed for old patch. I feel like the Celeste changes weren't really too great. Right, Kelvin. Frost Grenade now impacts on Ice Path. Frost Grenade radius reduced from 6.5 to 6 meters. Cooldown increased from 20 to 30 seconds. Frost Grenade now comes with 2 charges. Frost Grenade now heals in the base ability. Frost Grenade no longer has a minus 4% stamina reduction. Tier 1 change from +1 charge to increase the damage and heal by 30. Tier 2 change from provides healing to freezes stamina regen. What? Freezes stamina regen. That's crazy. What? Ice Path is now cancelled on a Billy button press instead of space. Cooldown increased from 46 to 50 seconds. Incline, decline speed increased.
Let's get started, shall we?
Yeah, that feels a lot better. That feels a lot better, actually. Yeah, I like that a lot. Tier 1 changed from 4 sprint to 2 move speed and 35 bullet resist on ice path. Okay, yeah, they made him a lot tankier. Tier 2 increased from minus 17 cooldown to minus 20-second cooldown. Damn. I mean, that just makes up for this. Ice Path Tier 3 now grants you 35% spirit power while on the Ice Path! Oh my goodness! That's gonna obliterate so many people. Visual clarity on the Arctic Beam has been improved. Being able to collect the grenade on the Ice Path means you can grenade your feet for heals while you're being shot at. Yeah, that's what it seemed like. Yeah, so you can... Yeah, that makes sense.
Take them down.
Oh, wow, they did change... Okay, this looks so much better now. Instead of just being blinding in your face, this like would like blind you. I'm really glad it doesn't do that anymore. I'm really glad they changed the VFX on it. RTB now lets you cast frost grenades and items while using it. That is such a good change. Max fire reduction reduced from minus 35% to minus 20. Max slow reduced from 40 to 20. Spirit scaling reduced. Cooldown increased. Tier 1 now increases move slow and fire reduction. So just, well, this undoes the nerf here, but makes it stronger. Tier 2 now grants extra DPS and extra spirit scaling. Wow. Yeah, I really like the direction of pulling away strength from abilities early. And making them scale more. Frozen Shelter can now be cancelled first without canceling Ice Beam. That is so nice. You don't have to grief from abilities for that. Tier 3 now reduces cooldown. Now also reduces cooldown. So what does Tier 3 do on this? Minus 13 seconds cooldown and fires 2 additional Arctic Beams with it. What?
This is why I am.
Wait, what?
feared. It's pointless to resist.
Oh my, it's got Ricochet. I know that's like a normal thing, but I didn't know that. I've never seen a Kelvin use that. I've fought like 3 Kelvins in the game before. So forgive me. That's crazy.
I got them.
That's crazy. I accidentally took a screenshot. Frozen Shelter gonna be canceled. Frozen Shelter is now 8 meters. Unit target creates a dome around the center of both heroes. Can be self-casted to create around yourself. That's really nice. So you can save somebody else with it. Frozen Shelter duration increased from 5.5 or reduced from 5.5 to 5. Tier 1 now gives you extra cooldown. Tier 2 now increases the duration. Get the duration by 1.5. So again, they reallocated the power here. Tier 3 now also dispels non-ult debuff. Oh, they give another cleanse! That's awesome. I really like that they gave another cleanse on Kelvin ult. Like, Kelvin ult, really good for that. That's really nice. These Kelvin changes are insane, actually. Lady Geist, Essence Bomb. Let me move away from the Portal Music Shop. Essence Bomb damage self changed from 30 plus 1.8 scaling to 30% of the damage. Oh, okay. Essence Bomb radius now reduced. I hated how big the Essence Bomb was on Lady Geist. That felt so bad. Cooldown reduced by 0.5 seconds. Tier 1 increased from minus 4 seconds to minus 5 seconds. I imagine that's cooldown.
I didn't sell my soul.
Yeah. So an extra second.
Saved my life.
Tier 2 now also increases ability radius by 2 meters. Okay, so they just put it back in this. Yeah, okay, for sure. So 2 meters and 50 damage. Tier 3 now also increases spirit scaling. Okay, so increases spirit scaling and... Wait, am I crazy? Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. Life drain cooldown increased from 30 to 34 seconds. Break range reduced from 30 to 28 meters. Okay. Life drain tier 1 DPS increased from 16.2 to 18. Tier 2 duration increased from 2 seconds to 2.5, and Tier 3 charges now increased from +1 to +2. Tier 3 now increases spirit scaling by 0.03. Okay. Lady Geist ult. Cast time reduced from 0.2 to 0.1. Soul Exchange post-cast hold time. Soul Exchange post-cast hold time reduced from 0.7 to 0.2 seconds. Okay. Tier 1 cooldown reduced from -35 to -30 seconds. Wow, what? So this becomes what? Oh, this becomes a... I guess that's fine. It's crazy, though. That's crazy. Soul Exchange Tier 2 changed from on-cast fire rate to silences enemies for... That's really nice. Changing it to silence everybody in an AoE around you, that is such a nice change. That is really strong. Really cool. And then her ult and then they changed that from her tier 3 to become her tier 3, which is now a steroid. 60 spirit power, 40% fire rate, and 50% spirit resistance. That's crazy. Lash. Increase sparkles. What? What do you mean Lash increase sparkles?
When I come for you, you're gonna know it. There's just
oh my god, he has sparkles now. Oh my god, he has sparkles now. Lash has sparkles now. That's amazing. Fixed ground strike against players brought down from midair not doing damage. Okay. Parry on Lash? No way. No. No way. Actually, no way that they changed the parry like that. Lash fans are eating good. Does your mod make it a middle finger? Oh yeah, my parry? Yeah, it does. Dude, Lash fans are eating good. Oh my god. You know, he's not my kind of character, but like, go nuts. Enjoy it. This parry is so fucking funny, dude. That's good. I like that. Grapple tier 2 weapon damage increased from 6 to 6. No! No! Not again! Not again! No! 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 Not again! Grapple tier 3 changed from 20% fire rate to 60% air control and +1 stamina on usage. That is so much better than having it be fire rate. He did not care about this at all. Flog cooldown increased by 2 seconds. Flog attack angle no longer increases spirit power. That just seems kind of fair, I'll be honest with you. Flog heal versus heroes reduced from 60% to 50%. Okay. Flog tier 2... Flash Flog tier 2 increased from -12 second cooldown to -16 second cooldown. Flog tier 2 now reduces fire rate by 30%. That's really good. Tier 3 no longer reduces fire rate. It does extra damage and now increases attack angle by 40 and heal. Okay, so they changed the scaling to make it consistent. I like that. Fixed Death Slam camera sometimes being obstructed. Death Slam now throw distance no longer skill spirit power. I think that's again pretty fair. Makes it pretty consistent. Cooldown increased by 5 seconds. Tier 1 increases the throw distance. Tier 2 reduces the cooldown by an extra 15 seconds now, so it's -40. Tier 3 now increases the cast range. Okay, yeah, that seems fair. That seems pretty fair. McGinnis? Wait, McGinnis is now a Bucket 2 character?
What's the point of building toys if you never get to use them?
Oh, that is a crazy change, actually. I'm really surprised to see that, actually. Was she just, like, 2 immobile? Crazy. Okay. Bullet damage reduced to scale... No, they just flat reduced it. It doesn't even scale better. They just flat reduced it by a good chunk. Mini turret duration increased. Valve once again saying women can't triple dash. Hashtag sexism. So true. Absolutely so true. Base health and heal growth reduced by 40%. Initial fading resist start value increased from 60 to 80. Okay. Mini turrets have now 35% melee resist. Mini turret tracking angle projectile speed significantly improved. Okay, that's nice. Mini turret on the minimap now flash turn red when they are attacking. Oh, that's really nice. It no longer applies a slow and just does extra attack damage and extra DPS. And then this is plus 2 charges. And then tier 3 is now fire rate and turret lifetime. I really like the way that they moved this kit. It felt pretty bad for it to always slow you without items or anything like that. It just did it in lane immediately. I'm really glad that they actually removed that from it. Additional spectre duration no longer scales spirit power. The radius no longer scales spirit power. The regen does, though. That's really weird that only the regen didn't. Cooldown increased from 48 to 50 seconds. No longer provides stamina recovery. Tier 1 now grants you spirit resistance instead of fire rate. Again, I like that, but I don't know. Tier 2 gives you extra cooldown, make up for it. Oh, and then Tier 2 also increases stamina recovery as well. Okay. Tier 3 regen reduced from 2%, 2.5% max HP to 2%. Okay, they basically made her more killable. I think I like that. Tier 3 now also increases radius by 3 meters, increases duration. Okay. Spectral wall that is mid-cast will now fire when you're empty rather than continue to expand outward. That is really nice. Oh my goodness, you can actually have counterplay around McGinnis wall now. That is so nice. That is so nice. I hate being trapped by a McGinnis wall. I'm so glad. Okay, so 4 lights or 2 heavies. This is about to be the construct killer. True. No longer drains stamina on tier 1. Applies slow to enemies to pass it through while being summoned. That's crazy. What? You can just slow like a whole team. Tier 1 damage jump increased from 15 to 20. Tier 2 also increases wall duration by 2 seconds. Tier 3 wall no longer stuns, but now creates 2 turrets for 8 seconds. What?
This thing can solve so many problems.
What? That's crazy.
Building cover.
Oh, well, you know, that kind of sucks. Really easy way to just get turrets, though. That's really cool. I like that. I think I'm a pretty big fan of that. The barrage duration reduced from 13 to 8 seconds. That is really nice. I felt like she had that ult forever. Like, literally forever. Minimum range reduced. Only incentivized putting wall behind the enemy rather than between for survival. Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that it's shifted more to an offensive tool rather than a defensive one. I do not think she needed more defensive power. She had so much. Tier 1 move slow reduced from 40 to 30. Tier 1 dash slow increased. Okay. Slow duration reduced from 2 to 1.5 seconds. Cooldown reduction increased from 45 to 55. Tier 2 now increases the duration. Okay, so Tier 2 gives you the duration back. It's still a defensive tool. It's more your locked in your with me tool. Well, yeah, but I don't think it's just like something you always want to pop when you're running away, which is kind of my problem with it. Tier 3 damage increased from 21 to 25. Spirit scaling increased on Tier 3. Now Tier 3 also increases explosion radius. That's crazy. Okay, we're getting close to the end. There are so many goddamn changes in this. Mina. Stamina cooldown increased from 3.9 to 4.2 seconds. No, her fastest stamina regen. Damn it. I love Mina, if this isn't clear. Rate cooldown increased from 10 seconds to 16. Wow. Wrthcrw hit missing health as damage increased from 3 to 5%. Okay, that's nice. Kill per kill reduced from 30 to 25. Yeah, she had a lot of sustain. I'm glad they kind of removed it. Kill per kill, spirit scaling reduced. Yeah, I'm glad they did that too. Tier 1 changed from 20 healing per kill to plus 60 damage. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Tier 2 changed from damage increase to 30 heal per kill and minus 8-second cooldown. Okay. Tier 3 now also provides 1.2 heal per kill spirit scaling. Okay. Singling retreat cast range reduced by a meter. Recast window increased from 3 to 3.5 seconds. Tier 1 now gives you... Oh, Tier 1 now gives you the fire rate and bullets. That is so nice. She really wanted the fire rate in lane. I really liked rushing kinetic dash on Mina because she had such fast stamina regen. And I wanted the fire rate. Having it now be Tier 1 Sanguine Retreat is really nice. Tier 2 changed from fire rate to 10-second cooldown. Okay. And then Tier 3 no longer gives you cooldown. It gives you an extra recast. What? So does that mean you get to...
The city could use some new blood.
Tap into the on the prowl.
So you have 3 recasts.
I go where I wish.
But losing that extra meter is pretty tough.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you go so much less further with it now than you did before, it feels like. Love Bite's cooldown increased from 8 to 10 seconds. Yeah, that's fine. She kind of needed it. Love Bite's damage reduced from 6 to 4. No! Oh, but they put it in scaling. Okay, that's fine. And then the bonus damage has been reduced from 55 to 45. And the spirit scaling, yeah. Okay, so they just removed the flat damage and give her scaling. I like that. So Tier 1 no longer gives you move speed and instead slows them. I like that a lot. Tier 2 damage bonus reduced from 3.650 to 345. So it makes it has less scaling and less flat damage. No, it just has less flat damage overall. Yeah, that's fine. Tier 3 changed from on proc -1 stamina and 3% slow to 4-second cooldown and on proc 25% fire rate. I'm a big fan of this. I like that they removed the fact that it drains stamina. That was kind of just not really the goal of it. It was kind of just like whatever. I'm glad that it has less cooldown and it gives you more fire rate. She really wants that. I'm really glad they gave her more fire rate in her base kit. She probably is going to feel a lot better to play now. They increased her ult cooldown by 15 seconds. The damage has been slightly reduced. That's fine. Tier 1 increased from 1.8 to 2.2 damage. Okay, so the damage got re-put in Tier 1. And Tier 2 undoes the cooldown change. Okay. Yeah, I actually really like these Mina changes. She definitely is built to scale a lot better when she fell off a lot in the later part of the game because she just didn't have proper scaling. Okay. Mirage has a ton of changes. His bullet damage has been reduced by a good chunk. Fire Scarabs no longer have a limited duration to launch each one. Functions as a normal charged ability. Fire Scarab's collision and model size increased a bit. I mean, does that mean I actually get to see what we're... Oh, it's actually clear what I'm shooting now. It was so tiny before. I was like actually like lost on what I was shooting. I had no idea. That is really nice. Base charge reduced from 4 to 2, and the spirit scaling's been reduced. They now immediately steal health from the target. Okay. Max health steal increased from 45 to 70. Okay. Fire Scarabs changed from minus 8% bullet resist to me moving away from the portal music. Fire Scarabs changed from minus 8% bullet resist to 10% damage up on that target from any damage you deal. That is so nice. It also makes them more flexible build-wise. Increased cooldown. The tier 1 doesn't reduce the cooldown, but gives you max health steal. And tier 2 gives you extra charges. Tier 3 gives you damage amp and spirit scaling. I'm a fan of how this has changed. It's pretty consistent with everything else. It's nice to see that they have a very consistent philosophy with balancing this and like retooling the kits. They don't just do this like for no reason. It's like they're not like, we want to change scaling, and then they just make one character not do that, you know. Fire Scarabs no longer has reduced effect against non-heroes. Good change. Tornado renamed to Dust Devil. Okay. Dust Devil lift duration reduced from 1.0 seconds to 0.4 seconds. Oh, this doesn't even stun you anymore, really. Let me add a Mirage.
We all have a destiny.
As
The only
enemy.
question is, do you have the courage to face it?
Enemy. Make Mimic.
I'll buy us some time.
I don't know what I thought was gonna happen. I'm not gonna lie to you.
The storm comes for you. This is just the beginning.
That is not. Yeah, that's really not that bad anymore. Wow. Huh. And then this no longer gives extra lift duration, but they gave more power to the bullet evasion, and they increased the duration of the. It also slows them by 30%, and they decrease the spirit scale. So now it has extra damage, extra evasion, minus cooldown, and can be recast within 5 seconds. Oh, okay. So they give you an extra charge. I really like this. I really like this a lot. They increase Jin's mark cooldown, the mark multiplier, the markiplier duration. The markiplier duration increased from 4.5 to 5 seconds. Jin's mark reveal duration increased from 3 seconds to 6 seconds. That's gonna suck so bad. I don't like that. Build up written to be based on a per stack basis. A stack increases damage by 200%. Okay. Jin's mark tier 1 increased, changed from 60% slow to fading 60% slow. Okay, yeah, I'm a fan of that. Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and today, Nahal and I will be claiming Wyoming on behalf of the Jin. Wouldn't even surprise me. If there's a Taki's factory out there, he would absolutely do that. Tier 2 now gives you plus 20 damage. Tier 3 decreases the cooldown by a full second. Tier 3 also stun. Tier 3 also stuns at max stacks. Oh, that's gonna be miserable. That's gonna be miserable to play against. I'm gonna hate my life. Is ult cooldown reduced by 10 seconds? Traveler can be cast while on the zipline. That seems, yeah. Traveler no longer channels. There's a 3-second delay before teleporting. Taking damage interrupts the ability and puts on cooldown for 6 seconds.
Nishala, where do you need me to go?
Oh, okay. So you can, like, continue, like, laning.
Teleporting.
I'm less of a fan of that as I was before the old. I like that it costs you time to do. I didn't really like that it just, I don't really like that now it just does it instantly. Our target's location on the minimap rather than units. Place you at ground level at that location. Oh, wait, so so you can just ult wherever you want now?
I move.
You just ult wherever you want now? Where am I?
The Jinn take me where I am needed.
What? Wait, I have to try something.
Just waiting.
Hang on.
Perfectly content. Happy in my lot in life. Comfortably knowing that I haven't been forgotten.
Time for a change of environment.
Okay, you can't pick up the urn. Can you imagine if there was a way to pick up the urn while you're doing this? That would need to be hotfixed like instantly. That would be so bad. Holy moly. Can you ult into their base?
Traveling.
Yes, you can apparently. What?
Take me where I'm needed.
Okay. Genuinely, I don't like this change at all. I don't like that that it just takes you anywhere on the map. I don't like that it doesn't require like a unit or something. I don't like that. I do not like that at all. I really, really wish that it... Yeah. I don't love that it has 0 restrictions. Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't like that it has no restrictions at all. That's really dumb. Hello? That's, like, insane. It should be that you can only teleport into territory you own. Yeah, like the indicator for, like, the voice line where it's, like, whenever you're, like, in the enemy jungle or something like that, and it's, like, I can be ambushed at any time. Like, that's so... You should... Like, hello? What? I hate that. I hate that. Traveler no longer grants 2 meter move speed and 26% fire rate. Tier 1 now gives you move speed. Tier 2 now grants you 400 barrier of spirit scaling. And Tier 3 now gives you cooldown. Okay, I mean, I like the upgrade changes. I don't like the base change of it, though. Like, I think, like, I legitimately think that, like, the Tier 3 should let you ult wherever you want. I would be okay with that, but base kit letting you teleport wherever you want? Like, that's actually crazy. That is actually insane, hello? Like... If anything, I wish it kind of worked like, Omen from Valorant, where he, like, casts a target he wants to go to, and then he sits there, and then he can, like, see before he lands, and, like, can cancel it. That would be a way cooler way to do it, other than just teleport instantly wherever you want, on demand. Like, that's crazy, no? That's insane. I hate that. I actually hate that. How many do we have left? Not too many. Mo and Krill. Scorn damage reduced from 56 to 50. Radius reduced by a meter. Spirit scaling increased. That's pretty much in line with everything else we've seen. Tier 1 no longer gives you cooldown and gives you flat damage. That's kind of weird. Most things they've done haven't done that. Tier 2, now instead of giving you damage, now gives you cooldown and 1 meter radius. Oh, so that just undoes the change they did here. Moon Krill. Burrow now lets you enter the tunnels? Wait, what? No. What? Excuse me?
At your service.
Excuse me? I don't know where the tunnels are. I don't play characters that interact with tunnels. Where's the closest tunnel? There's one in here. I know there's one in here.
Going low.
Oh, but you can't go into, like, the tunnels. Oh, no, you can. Never mind.
Be careful, Maurice. It's just us out here.
Oh, and it kicks you out.
Holding on.
If you're in it, you're trying to, like, sit in it. What's the cooldown?
Start digging.
Right now I go in the tunnels here. And then I'm stuck in here for 40 seconds. I'm just like here for 40 seconds? Oh my god. Dude, Rem is going to get absolutely obliterated in these tunnels. It's gonna be a Rem farming and then just, we have you now! crazy. What? That's insane. Thrower cooldown increased. Tier 1 changed from duration to spin DPS. Tier 2 now gives you spin radius and burrow time. And Tier 3 gives you 4 move speed. So you would need, like...
Ready to do some digging.
Tier 2 to actually make, like, good use of this, right? So let's say, like, right here, I'm gonna burrow in here. And then, like, now I can get through. Okay, yeah. Well, what about the ones on mid-boss? So, like, here...
Your time to shine.
I can go, boom. I've never been in these before. I don't play a character that goes in here. But I can't even get up like the... Wait, they can't even like get up like the slope. What? They can't like get up the slopes, dude. What?
Mystery she will show you.
You ready, Maurice?
There's like this, but like that's all the mid-boss stuff. What? That's so weird. I don't... That feels so weird. Like but like it makes sense for the character. I mean, he's a fucking mole, right? He's a fucking mole, so like it makes sense. But like it's weird that the area is like not really designed for them. You know? Like of course, I'm sure every Mo and Krill builds like duration, right? For your ult, right? So the burrow lasts like a longer period of time, so you can get through more stuff. But like it's weird, really weird. I'm chasing it. If I ever play Mo and Krill, which I won't, because I don't like Mo, because I don't like this character. But like, Sandblast now on a 40-second cooldown. Duration's reduced from 3 seconds to 2.5. That's so nice. Range reduced by 10 meters. Tier 1 now gives you extra range. Tier 2 slows targets move speed and dash speed. Wow. Tier 3 now gives extra duration that they lost. Not all of it. Minus 20-second cooldown. God damn. Combo cooldown increased. Oh my god, thank you. Thank you for increasing combo cooldown by 60 seconds. Thank god. Combo DPS increased from 35 to 60. Okay, that's fine. Tier 1 changed to 100% lifesteal! Tier 2 now gives 60 DPS and 50% bullet resist. Tier 3 now gives you 0.7 seconds duration, minus 60 seconds. I mean, it's more in line, but that 100% lifesteal is crazy. Alright, Paige. Conjure Dragon now renamed a Bookworm. That seems more appropriate. Bookworm fixed initial location, not starting where you click it. Cooldown increased by 3 seconds. Tier 1 now gives trail duration and width. That seems good. Tier 2 now gives minus 8 second cooldown and 10 meters travel range. Also pretty good. Tier 3 DPS reskilled from 104.27 to 130. Yeah, okay. Tier 3 also grants +1 charge. Oh, so you get charges of it. Defend and Fight renamed to Plot Armor. Okay, thanks. Plot Armor Barrier Spirit scaling reduced from 1.6 to 1.3. Thank God. Tier 3 increases spirit scaling. This just makes it really much nicer to deal with in lane. I feel like you could never kill somebody when there was a Paige. Captivating Read high area no longer increases with range bonuses. Captivating Read cooldown increased from 25 to 30 seconds. Captivating Read immobilized duration reduced by 0.25 seconds. Captivating Read tier 1 cooldown reduced from 6 seconds to 11. Okay, so that just undoes the nerf here. Tier 2 immobilized duration increased by a second. That just undoes this change here. Tier 3 now also increases the radius by 1 meter. Rallying Charge Tier 2 now reduces cooldown by 30 seconds, and Rallying Charge Tier 3 now increases max amp from 100 to 150.
Who am I to resist a perfectly good prophecy?
Favored by the Archmother.
So, max amp. Okay. Okay. I do like how he isn't as strong at early games. I feel like you could just never flip it. Unless they made a very serious mistake. Okay. Paradox. Pulse grenade radius reduced from 6 meters to 5.5. Pulse grenade radius increases by plus 1 meters per pulse. Oh, so that's default now. Pulse grenade amp per stack reduced from 6 to 4%. Pulse grenade cooldown increased from 28 to 32 seconds. Pulse grenade spirit scaling from 0.6 to 0.4. Okay. Pulse grenade changed from minus 30% move speed for 2 seconds to 20% time slow for 2 seconds. Okay, I like that change at least. Tier 1 changed from 0.8 duration to cooldown. Tier 2 changed from minus 8 second cooldown to 20 pulse damage and 0.5 spirit scaling. Okay, pretty in line with the other stuff they're doing. Pulse grenade tier 3 changed from 36 pulse damage and 0.8 meters per pulse to 4% damage amp per stack in 1.6 duration. I mean, this makes the grenade a lot stronger. Like once it's leveled up. Time wall duration reduced by 0.5 seconds. Time wall no longer damages enemies going through it. Okay. Time wall now increases allied bullet speeds going through it by 100%. Time wall now adds 30% weapon damage to allied bullet damage. Wow. Tier 1 width increased by a meter. Tier 2 no longer does max health damage to 2.5 seconds duration, 35% weapon damage. Tier 3 changed from silencing enemies to allowing charges and granting +1 charge. I don't like that they, like... Isn't Paradox's whole kit designed around swapping enemies through the wall? I don't like that they actually, like, changed that. I really don't like that they changed the wall swap combos. I really don't like that they changed the, like, core of her kit. I thought it was really cool. I really don't like that they changed the, like, how walls actually function. I don't like that it's basically like a... I don't like that it's a buff rather than a debuff. Does that make sense? It felt like it made more... Like, they removed all of the... Like, they removed a lot of the steroids. Yet, they kept her... They changed her wall to a steroid. That sucks. That, like, changes the whole gameplay loop of her. I don't like that. I really don't... Hi, Mirage. I really don't like that. Are Paradox mains okay? Carbine cooldown increased by 3 seconds. Speed spirit scaling reduced... Or increased. Base damage scale increased. Tier 2 no longer grants cooldown to... Oh, it grants more cooldown and doesn't give charge hold. And then Tier 3 now also grants charge hold. So they basically just retuned her level up for that. Paradoxical swap now has a 20-second extra cooldown. It no longer has 80% spirit lifesteal. Damage changed from 115 to 10% current health. I mean, I like that it's current health, but like they kind of removed the scaling from it. Tier 1 now grants barrier that scales to spirit. Tier 2 grants cast range and cooldown. Tier 3 swaps additional enemies in 7-meter radius. What? Wait, what? Okay, hang on.
All over the battlefield.
So you swap multiple people.
Swapping now.
That is really crazy. What? But you can't... But, like, if you had the old wall... Can you imagine how that would be with the old wall? What? Wait, does that work with, What is it? Range? The greater expansion?
Expensive taste. I love it.
Does that work? Hang on. Why did you moan like that? Don't do that. Hang on, let's sell this.
Stopping. Tell you what, Mirage. Give me the gem
let's say like right here. Stop moaning. I'm like right here. It's like, would this swap?
I'll catch them.
No.
Where are you going?
So what about right here? Would this swap?
Not so fast, buddy.
No.
Leave this to me.
What about like right?
I got this.
No.
Get ready for them.
So now if I buy expansion. Oh, okay. Expansion does work for that. And I mean, she wants to build expansion anyway with her pulse grenade, right? Because it gets extra range every time it clicks. Or she wants duration, I guess, instead of expansion. But expansion might be a solid option on her now. Because, like, what? Duration would give you, like, what?
Good luck completing the ritual.
That is huge! What?
No one's stopping me.
That is so big! Hello? That is crazy! What? Okay, I don't like the direction they moved her kit, but, like, it's fine, I guess. At least there's some stuff. I don't know, there's some cool things, but I don't really like how they changed the core style of her. Fuck it. Please make them actually viable outside of Affliction. Barrage projectile speed increased by 15%. Barrage now let's... Wait, what? You can use stamina during Barrage now? What?
I'm tired of lying to my friends and to myself.
Oops.
Souls are angry.
But you can't jump, so you have to...
Made the spirits mad.
Huh. What?
You can't stop me. I'll fight with everything I have.
But you can't jump or go... Like, you can't, like...
Letting out spirits.
So you can only dash. Weird. That's weird. Barrage unless you use Flying Cloak during the ability. I like that for the playstyle. Barrage tier 1 increased from damage per projectile to 16. So instead of 12.6, it gives you 16. That's nice for lane poke. That's actually just really nice. Tier 2 cooldown increased from 14 to 16 seconds. Okay. Tier 3 gives you an extra meter of radius as well. Okay. Flying Cloak cooldown reduced from 32 to 26 seconds, but it does less damage. I like that for like the kind of less spammy poke. Duration increased from 3.4 seconds to 3.8. It travels slower now. Okay, it travels slower, but it lasts long. Okay, I like that. Flying Cloak tier 1 changed from cooldown to damage. Tier 2 grabs weapon damage upon cast. Okay. Tier 3 Cloak now grants travel time and cooldown. Okay, I really like that. Satchel spirit scaling increased from 0.6 to 0.9. Okay, that seems really good. Now reduces movement. Tier 3 now also reduces movement by 40%. The Tier 3 fire rate slow increased by 40%. Tier 3 escape duration now increased. Wow, they buffed the hell out of Pocket's Tier 3 satchel. Affliction no longer grants 12% current health damage. Okay. But they increased its DPS. They increased its spirit scaling very little. And they increased the cooldown. So is Pocket just bad now? Like, Affliction was really good. It was very, 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 very strong. But is Pocket just bad now? Like, they were kind of already, like, an ult machine before, but, like, do they just not really... Tier 1 gives you minus 40-second cooldown. Tier 2 no longer reduces healing by 40%, but it also increases the meter by 4. Tier 3 no longer increases radius. Tier 3 now prevents all healing on targets. Okay, so they wanted to change the power allocation from doing health damage to doing... like, being, like, anti-heal. I feel like it can be lethal then, no? I feel like Affliction should be lethal then. If it can kill somebody, I feel like it doesn't need to be non-lethal. Because, like, obviously if it was lethal before, it would just literally kill you. Like, there's nothing you can do about it.
In charge of this power, then no more games.
But, like, that... Huh? That's weird. I don't like that. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. I'm very iffy on it. Okay, I'm looking at these REM changes, and I'm not happy about how short they are. I hate that character. Little Trooper base healing changed from 8 to 10, from 10 to 8. The healing's more constant, but the frequency has been reduced, so it has an overall reduction. Okay. Little Helper's Trooper's healing spirit scaling reduced. Okay. Or no, increased, so it scales more with spirit. Okay. Nap time move speed reduced from 2 to 1.5. Sleep duration decreased by 0.25. Nap time radius reduced by 3 meters. And, okay, Rem is no longer unstoppable when channeling the ult. Thank God. That was so dumb, man. Instead of getting unstoppable, it gives sleep duration and radius, so it undoes those nerfs. And the nap time tier 3 now grants 50% damage resist when channeling. Very glad to see this. Very, 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 very glad to see that. I think Rem needs some more counterplay available for him, but like, those changes are a good start. Seven's move speed no longer scales with spirit power. I didn't know that was a thing. Sprint speed increased to compensate. Lightning Ball slows down less versus non-heroes. Okay, yeah, that seems really good for like wave clear and stuff. I'm glad. Lightning Ball fixed, now doing damage if another ball was already hitting a target. I don't really know what that means, but I'm glad they fixed something. Tier 2 now increases lifetime by 1 second. Static charge damage reduced by 3. Cast range reduced by 3 or by 1 meter. Cast range no longer increases spirit power. Static charge tier 1 increased by 1 second cooldown. Okay. Static charge tier 2 that increases cast range by 5 meters. Tier 3 increases damage by 160. Power surge duration no longer scales with spirit power. Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. Power surge cooldown increased from 48 to 50 seconds. Power surge max jumps increased from 3 to 4. Okay, I'm also fine with that. Power surge tier 1 increased from minus 15 second cooldown to minus 18. Tier 2 power surge gives you move speed, damage, and improved spirit scaling instead of reducing spirit resist. Power surge tier 3 changed from 11 shock damage scaling and 3 max jumps to 15% spirit resist for 8 seconds to 12 second duration. I'm also a pretty big fan of this. I like this. Stormcloud now allows movement in the base ability. Oh, that's not an upgrade anymore. Okay. I do like that. Stormcloud bullet resist reduced from 20 to 0. Okay. And then they moved that power to the tier 1 bullet resist. Okay. And then tier 3 increases move speed by 3 meters. Okay. I do like most of those changes, but like, yeah, I like most of those changes. Okay, Shiv. Shiv has 2 stamina instead of 3. I think that puts him in line with a lot of other characters, especially because he already has like a dash and stuff. Compared to like Silver or like Mina, I think that's pretty decent. Stamina movement speed reduced from 6.7 to 6.5. Bullet damage growth increased. Okay, I like that. Serrated knives no longer has impact damage. The bleed DPS per knife is increased from 4 to 10. Okay. And then the spirit scaling of DPS of it has been increased. Tier 1 changed from +1 charge. Tier 1 no longer gives a charge, now gives duration. I also like that. Tier 2 changed from duration to charges. Okay, yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Tier 3 no longer does impact damage, and it increases the DPS from 5.5 to 12. It also increases spirit scaling. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. Slice and Dice now has a 16-second cooldown instead of 15. Impact damage reduced by 15. And it now reduces spirit resistance by 6%, and it stacks. Wow, okay. Slice and Dice increased from minus 3-second cooldown to minus 6-second cooldown for the tier 1. Tier 2 now no longer has impact damage and now reduces spirit resistance further and grants dash range. And then tier 3 grants impact damage. Okay, yeah. Shiv ult is no longer targeted. Oh my god, thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad it is no longer targeted. Thank you. Damage amp reduced by 1%. Tier 2. Tier 2 change from enemy health threshold damage amp to damage amp. Okay, thank god. Okay, Shiv ult feels so much more appropriate now. Thank god. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Silver Mulling Leap damage scaling reduced. That's fine. Tail Whack being considered a movement ability. Yeah, wait, that was a movement ability? Disarm duration reduced by 0.5 seconds. Tail Whack slow duration. I can't talk. Tail Whack slow duration increased from 1.5 to 2 seconds. Tail Whack tier 3 change from 1 second disarm duration to 1.5 debuff duration. I imagine that's +1? I don't know what that means. Lycan cooldown increased. Oh, there's actually counterplay to her ult now. Thank God. Actually, that's a 50-second cooldown. You can actually fight during that time and not like just kind of be screwed over. Base health reduced from 100 to 75. Her Lycan Curse no longer grants bullet and spear resist, and it no longer grants move speed. Tier 1 gives you more resist, and Tier 2 gives you extra health. Good changes, I think. I think very good changes. Makes her actually killable. Victor bullet damage increased by a very tiny amount. Pain Battery now starts charge. Pain Battery range increased from 20 to 28. Pain Battery reduced randomness on projectile paths. Pain Battery bolt count from 5 to 7. Okay. It seems like all of these numbers, I think it seems like all of these are just like number changes for Victor. It's not really anything fundamentally different. I think they just changed a lot of his numbers. They changed the cooldown jumpstart. They reduced the move speed jumpstart move speed. They decreased the spirit scaling, but they moved the move speed into tier 1. They reduced cooldown on tier 2. Tier 3 provides a charge and no longer reduces cooldown and increases spirit scaling. Okay. Aura of Suffering time to max DPS reduced from 10 to 6. Wow. That hurts. Radius. What? They increased the radius to 10 meters on Victor's Aura of Suffering? Oh my god. No way. Minimum DPS reduced from 16 to 12. Okay, that's nice at least, but like, Jesus Christ. Spirit scaling reduced as well. Okay, max DPS reduced. Okay, thank God they just made it wider and didn't increase the damage. Oh my god. Reduced the base radius of shocking reanimation, and he comes back at half health rather than 60%. Okay. And when Victor's ult is on cooldown, he gets fire rate and spirit damage. That is really nice. I'm glad that it provides something when it isn't there. Tier 2 makes him come at full health. Tier 3 grants him radius, stun, and cooldown. Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Vindicta fire rate no longer scales with spirit power. Okay. Bullet damage now scales with spirit power. Okay, yeah, I like that. She has less ammo, more bullet velocity. Her stake damage has been reduced. Your damage spirit scaling has been increased on stake. Stake projectile speed increased by 5 meters. That's really nice. Stake tier 1 changed from fire rate damage. I like that as well. I don't really think she should be debuffing people. I think she should just be doing damage. Tether duration increased to tier 3 tether duration increased to 0.75. Okay, yeah. Capture radius for tier 3 increased from 1 meter to 2 meters. Wait, you can melee and parry while flying as Vindicta now?
I don't have the luxury of morality.
Oh my... Wait, you can buy counterspell on Vindicta now!
Stay 2 steps ahead of death, my friend.
Wait, I can't parry. Because my fly... Okay, well, that's just me being a noob. Because my parry is on fly down. That's just me being a noob. No more knockdown hell.
Time to move.
Listen, I'm not saying she deserved it. But she deserved it.
Time.
I'm not saying she deserved it, but she deserved it. Hi, Alice. Vindicta can finally buy counterspell. Flight grants you 50% item cast range. That is nice. Spirit scaling damage reduced. Flight duration reduced by 2 seconds. But tier 2 gives you that back. Tier 3 grants you... Tier 3 has the spirit damage reduced, but also increases spirit scaling. Again, putting more power for later. Tier 3 flight refreshes duration on hero kill. That's cool. I like that a lot. I'm a big fan. Big fan of that. Crow Familiar now releases those swarm crows in a cone forward. What?
I have an omen for you.
That is so different.
Summoning crows. The birds will deal with
That
them.
is so different. What? That's crazy. Debuff duration no longer scales with spirit power. Debuff duration increased by a second. Bleed damage reduced. Familiar damage increased. Cooldown increased. Tier 1 no longer ricochets and now reduces healing. Yeah, I like that. Tier 2 now increases bleed damage. Tier 3 increases debuff duration. Yeah, I'm a fan of that, I think. Assassinate while scope no longer unscopes when using items. That's such a nice change. Assassinate now has a 4-second buffer on impact for bonus credit. Oh, okay, yeah, that's nice, yeah. Assassinate while scope now plays a sound for you when... Hello? Assassinate while scope now plays a sound for you when the it is fully charged. When the it plays when the it is when the it when the yep Weapon damage increased by from 5 to 6. Okay. Cool Vindicta changes. Viscous. Splatter bounces once by default. Splatter cooldown reduced by 4 seconds. Spirit scaling reduced by a lot. That's half spirit scaling. Splatter ground now effects increase to the slightest since 60%. Wait, you get the portal goo. Wait, it's the blue gel or whatever in portal, right?
Sending goo ball.
Wait, it's... Wait, it's the portal goo. It's got portal goo now. Cool. Multiple hit damage reduced. Okay. Tier 1 splatter radius increased by 1 meter. Tier 2 cooldown reduced by 2 extra seconds. That doesn't fix the nerf, but is a little bit appropriate. Spirit scaling increased by a lot. Okay, damn. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. They reallocated the power from base to... Tier 3 still adds 2 bounces. Viscous, the cube. Now is a very brief period where allies cannot cancel to prevent additional cancels. That's nice. The cube. Healing spirit scaling increased by over double. That's crazy. The cube. Tier 3 increased from 21 second cooldown to minus 25 second cooldown. Okay. Puddle Punch now grants 30% air control when affecting yourself or allies. What? Whoa, that's... Okay, that was probably the worst example I could ever do. That's crazy! What?
I'm going to punch them. Who wants to see a goo fist? Hi, friend.
That is crazy, actually. What?
Goo punch.
I'm not a Viscous player, but that is cool as hell. The fact that you get air control, that is so nice. The view, good job. Charge time increased from 1.5 to 1.7 seconds. This is really nice for being able to time it, time parries and stuff. Puddle Punch slow increased. I'm also a big fan of that. Now acts as if it's close range with respect to item procs. Oh, that's disgusting. Radius reduced by 0.5 meters. Tier 2 grants you 1.5 meter radius and 30% damage. Oh my god. Gooball can no longer carry Urn. He can carry Urn? Why did none of my teammates do that? Gooball turn rate improved a little bit. He now use abilities and items. Oh, thank god. Yeah, I'm glad that that's not a tier 3 thing. Cooldown increased by 15, duration increased by a second, bullet and spirit resist basically nuked. Tier 1 grants 30-second cooldown reduction. Tier 2 grants a little bit less damage now, and Tier 3 that gives you 6-second duration and 0.3-second stun duration. Wow! Wow, that's a crazy Tier 3 upgrade for that. Okay, 3 characters left. Warden. Bullet growth per boon reduced. Okay. Alchemical flask weapon damage reduced from 30% to 25%. Tier flask tier 2 damage increased by 4. Okay. Tier 2 now increases weapon damage reduction by 20%. Oh, so it makes it even harder. Tier 2 no longer increases radius by 1 meter. Tier 3 cooldown increased by 0.5 seconds. Tier 3 now also increases radius by 2 meters. Okay. Willpower duration increased from 7 to 5, reduced from 7 to 5 seconds. Wow, that's kind of obliterated at lower levels. Cooldown 2 seconds less. Barrier now scales to spirit power. That's nice. Tier 2 cooldown on reduces cooldown by 3 seconds. That just undoes this. Tier 2 now increases duration by 2 seconds. Okay, yeah, so that undoes that. That makes sense. Tier 3 now changed from 40% debuff resistance and improved scaling. Wow, that's cool. I like that. Binding Word cast range reduced from 20 meters to 15 meters. Binding Word cooldown. I'm glad that they reduced the cast time. He could, like, throw it at people. Cooldown reduced by 3 seconds. Tier 1 now does extra bullet damage to trapped heroes. Tier 2 has extra duration and cast range. Okay, yeah, yeah. Tier 2 also increases trap duration. Doesn't it say that? Already here? Tier 3, minus 18-second cooldown and silences enemies until they escape or are trapped. That's insane! What? He has an on-demand silence now. What? Last stand channeling, bullet and spirit res increased from 30 to 60. Radius has been reduced by a meter. But Tier 1 undoes that. Tier 3 no longer grants resist, but increases duration by 0.5, and it also makes you... Tier 3 also makes you unstoppable in channeling. These are some solid changes, I think. I think it adds more counterplay, and it makes it less feel bad. Wraith. Card tricks now have specific suits with special bonuses. What? Wait, what? Wraith gets... Wait, what?
You can bet on me.
I'm not even actually doing damage, I just realized. So I should probably, like, spawn like an enemy. Spawn enemy. Oh, and then you can use the cards for the ability, and it gets rid of the... Okay.
Never had a chance.
That's really cool, actually. I really like that. Now she's actually more of a gambler now. What? That's cool.
I love this trick.
And you don't want to always just spam your cards. You might want to keep them depending on, like, what you're actually using them for. That's really cool. What? Spades gives plus 70% damage. Whoa, what? Diamond cuts enemy resistance by 8 seconds. What the fuck? Hearts heals you for 75 HP. Is this when you use... Wait, is this when you use it? Or is this a passive?
You should run. Dealing.
This is when you use it, right? Because plus 80 damage is, like, insane. So it has to be, like, when you use it.
Cards out.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's when you use it. Okay. Yeah, Joker has all the above effects and bounces to additional enemy. It has 1/9. Okay, yeah, yeah. I like that a lot, actually. Very cool character. Joker has all the above effects and bounces to additional. Card trick base charge count increased from 1 to 2. Okay, yeah. Card trick base damage reduced from 60 to 45. Yeah, this makes sense because it has all the effects now. Spirit scaling reduced by a bit. Okay. Card trick buildup now takes 20% longer. Damn. Cooldown reduced by 0.5 seconds. Post cast time reduced from 0.2 to 0.1 seconds. Okay. Card trick now highlights the enemy. Now highlights the card that will be thrown next. Oh, that's why it was okay. And now has unique sounds for each card suite that is summoned. Tier 1 now grants you +2 charges. You get 4 charges? Wow. +4 damage, increased spirit scaling on tier 2. Tier 3 grants you improved card suites and increased joker chances. Oh, so it just amps all of the benefits. That's really cool. What? Wait, then what does the tier 3 do? Oh, wait, that's tier 5. Wait, okay, so this is so this isn't right. Okay. Fixed project mind interaction with stuns. Full auto no longer affects allies. Previously give half fire to allies. Full auto duration no longer scales spirit power. Full auto cooldown reduced by 3 seconds. Base ability now does 2 spirit damage per bullet. Tier 1 now grants 6-second short cooldown. Tier 2 grants fire rate and duration. Tier 3, unlimited ammo and increased spirit scaling. What?
Tear them apart.
Feel free to give up anytime.
Infinite ammo for, oh my, 8 seconds. No, 11 seconds.
This is gonna be fun.
Infinite ammo for 11 seconds is insane. What? $11 with a 25-second cool. That's insane. What? Hello, Mina, go away. Wraith is like, is she actually good now? That's like insane. Telekinesis cooldown increased by 10 seconds. Reduced cast range. Thank God. Cast time increased. No longer projectile now instantly lifts the hero. No! I'm so sad. Gives you a location target on the ground. If 0.5 seconds is over, throw the hero toward that location. Wait, what?
Hold it! Yeah, I don't think so.
What?
You're mine.
They made her ult like actually good now. What? Wow.
Go home and save us all.
Wraith got a full like. Oh, this is insane. Tier 1 now gives you extra damage. Tier 2 gives you minus 50-second cooldown. Tier 3 grants you debuff duration and throw and cast range. Wow. Wraith is insane now. That's really cool. Now for our last hero, Yamato. Power slash being held down no longer automatically fires it. I was like figuring out a player and I did not know that was a thing. You can now cast parry directly while channeling the power slash to fire the power slash and parry. That's really nice. You can't just get punched to death. Power slash base ability on 6% bullet resist while channeling. That's crazy. Power slash cooldown increased from 10.5 to 12. Power slash length reduced by 3 meters. Tier 1 now grants a slow for 3 seconds. Wow. Tier 2 is minus 4-second cooldown. Minus 3 is 8 meters range. Yamato, flying strike, and into flying slash. Flying slash is now light melee damage rather than spirit. Oh, so she actually will benefit from melee items. That's nice. Yeah, that makes sense. 50% slow. But has a 15% extra cooldown. Or it has 15-second extra cooldown. But has 5 meters extra range. Tier 1 grants minus 18 seconds cooldown. And tier 2 grants 20 meters cast range. What? Wait, how far away can you ult somebody? Oh wait, I'm thinking of... Okay, never mind. I see. I see. Okay, I see. Tier 3 can grapple to ally heroes. Oh wait, never mind. Can grapple to ally heroes, becomes charging grants +2 charges. What? Wait, so it gets +2 charges? Dude, what? That's insane. That is insane. What? That's crazy. Crimson slash cooldown increased from 15 to 16, slash fire rate reduction increased from 18 to 30. Tier 1 slash now grants 30% melee damage. Oh, that works with the... Wait, Crimson slash works with the, like... Oh, what the... Tier 3 increased cooldown to -10 seconds. Tier 3 also increases spirit scaling. Shadow transformation cooldown increased by 20 seconds. It reduces bullet and spear resist by 10% less. Tier 1 now grants 5 weapon damage. Tier 2 reduces cooldown by 25 seconds. Tier 3 increases the bullet resist and it undoes them. This is insane. Yeah, rapid recharge Yamato is literally like impossible to run from. What? But you have 4 charges, dude! That is insane. Yamato is like juiced. She's like actually so juiced. What? Okay. Well, it's been like what? 2 hours, but those are the patch notes. I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to skip around. There'll be timestamps in the description for all the things so you can stay relevant to the characters you like or what you want to hear. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go play the game now because I want to play the game really badly.